Welcome to Senpai, your new home for immersive manga, manhwa, anime-inspired novels, and fantasy audiobook stories. Here, every episode brings you into a world of overpowered heroes, revenge arcs, cultivation journeys, virtual reality games, monsters, magic, and emotional character moments. Whether you enjoy dark fantasy, action, reincarnation, system stories, or epic adventure novels, Senpai is here to turn every chapter into a cinematic listening experience. So relax, put on your headphones, and let the story begin. Subscribe to Senpai and join the journey.
After leaving the cave, Xia Ping found a clearing nearby. Let's see how strong my body has become. Standing in the clearing, Xia Ping clenched his fists and his muscles vibrated. Thunderous noise rose. It was as if his grip caused the air to explode. He unleashed a punch, and a loud bang sounded. The strength unleashed by his entire body generated an explosive airflow along with a thunderous rumble. My strength did indeed reach the level of more than 20,000 caddies. Xia Ping's eyes brightened. He felt that his muscles are as strong as steel and full of explosive power. Even his internal organs have become quite formidable. Just by exhaling, he can generate a strong wind that can punch a hole into a wall. Let's try practicing the five-form fist. Xia Ping's figure flashed, and his entire body moved and followed its bent. With the increase of spirit force, his control over his body's strength appears to have increased substantially as well. It feels like spirit force infiltrated every cell of his body, giving him a greater control over his body. Bang! In an instant, he began to practice the five-form fist: tiger fist, leopard fist, dragon fist, crane fist, snake fist, and so on. He performed exquisite footwork and unleashed countless fist strikes. Indistinct projections of tigers, leopards, dragons, white cranes, venomous snakes, and so on appeared in the air, emitted frenzied auras, and unleashed loud explosions. The power of his punches is now more than twice as great as before. Even though the five-form fist is a basic fist art, but it reached the supreme realm. Coupled with Xia Ping's 8th layer martial apprentice realm strength, it is enough to tear monstrous beasts apart and split the earth. When Xia Ping finished practicing the five-form fist, the clearing was a mess full of holes and crushed rocks. It's as if the place was ravaged by heavy artillery fire. As expected, the higher realm you reach, the stronger you become, the greater the gap between successive realms is, and the harder it is to break through. Xia Ping sighed. Although there's only a difference of one realm between the 7th layer and the 8th layer, but the gap in strength is quite large. It's even greater than the gap between the 6th layer and the 7th layer. If you reach the 9th layer martial apprentice realm and connect 9 meridians and integrate them into one, your strength will grow greatly and the amount of true qi will increase geometrically. However, it is more difficult to make a breakthrough. Some people spend more than a decade and may still not be able to promote to the 9th layer from the 8th layer. However, I consumed 3 Bloodfruits and thus acquired a tremendous amount of energy, which saved me a lot of effort and resources and spared me the need to slowly absorb the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. Xia Ping clenched his fists. So long as I completely refine the energy of the Bloodfruits stored in my body, I will naturally promote to a 9th layer martial apprentice. This is the advantage of treasures of heaven and earth. For an ordinary martial arts powerhouse, one such treasure is enough to save more than a decade of effort. This is the reason why so many martial arts powerhouses are eager to acquire them. Xia Ping, where are you? Suddenly, Jiang Yaru's voice came from a cave. She appears to be quite anxious. Xia Ping's figure flashed, and he left the clearing. After a few jumps, he arrived at the cave and saw Jiang Yaru in them at entrance of the cave. What's wrong? Did something happen? Xia Ping looked at Jiang Yaru and company. They are neatly dressed now. However, they have grave expressions on their faces, as if something major happened. Jiang Yaru said in a deep voice. Little Qin one and them went outside to hunt savage beasts for today's breakfast. But then they found this thing in the jungle along the way. She took out a piece of bark that has some words written on it. Xia Ping looked at it and read, Xia Ping, contact us at noon. Come to Savage Beast Island's Central Mountain Range post-haste. Otherwise, the students, including your schoolmates, we captured will be slaughtered. For every minute you are late, we will kill one student. These words reveal an intense killing intent that can make your heart palpitate. Such words must be written all over Savage Beast Island. Chu Rong guessed. The gangsters are probably using this dirty trick to force you out into the open. The girls are furious. The gangsters are really despicable. Since they can't find their whereabouts, they decided to use such a dirty trick. Do they think that they will make such a mistake? It is entirely conceivable that once they appear in the Central Mountain Range, they will be besieged by the gangsters and die without a burial site. Xia Ping, ignore their demands. Luo Lan uttered solemnly. Anyway, the teachers will come back in 2 days. At that time, when martial practitioner realm powerhouses arrive, the gangsters will die without a burial site. Not a single one of them will be able to escape. They are more anxious than we are. Some girls remain silent. If they don't appear, the other students will die. But they aren't so selfless as to throw their lives away for the sake of the other students. Xia Ping has a strange look on his face. The gangsters are really stupid. They think they can force him out into the open with this trick. If the gangsters had caught the people he knows well, they may really have forced his hand. But the people the gangsters caught hate him to the bone. Why should he go rescue them? Anyway, there's no benefit in saving them. It's better to let the gangsters kill them. However, he now itches to try out his skills in combat. The gangsters are the best practice targets at present. You wait here while I'll go play with the gangsters for a while. Xia Ping said to Jiang Yaru and them. Jiang Yaru was surprised. You want to go alone? It's a trap. Don't be stupid. If you really go, you'll be besieged by the gangsters. Yes, you can't go. You should know your limit. Chu Rong said in a deep voice. To knowingly throw away your life. That's not heroic, but moronic. No, you got me wrong. Xia Ping waved his hands. I'm not going to fall into the gangsters' trap. I'm just too lazy to wait for 2 days. I want to destroy them now. If the gangsters continue to live, they will be a nuisance. A nuisance? Jiang Yaru and company looked at Xia Ping with a speechless look on their faces. What are you going to do? Chu Rong asked curiously. Xia Ping smiled mysteriously. First, I'll find a communicator and contact the gangsters. Of course, I'll have to find a good place. I'm going to give them a large present. 1. Little Qin is Zhu Erqin. In the center of Savage Beast Island, at a mountaintop. There are more than 100 tied-up students lying on the ground, their faces bruised and swollen. They were caught by the band of the Cheetah. Yesterday, when Xia Ping stole the Bloodfruits, the members of the band of the Cheetah were infuriated. They vowed to find Xia Ping and tear him limb from limb. Unexpectedly, however, they couldn't find him anywhere. But they met other students. As a result, the unlucky students were captured, while those who resisted were beaten black and blue. But the members of the band of the Cheetah were dissatisfied. After all, they didn't find a person they were looking for. Damn it. Lin Bao, boss of the band of the Cheetah, gritted his teeth. Where the hell is that bastard hiding? Why can't we find him? He was so angry that he stayed up almost all night just to find Xia Ping. But Savage Beast Island is simply too large, no less than 100,000 square kilometers in area. And there are mountains and forests everywhere. A person hiding on this island is like a needle in a haystack. That bastard is a coward. He dares to steal from us, yet he doesn't dare to come out. If you have the guts, come out and fight us. Once we find that scoundrel, let's tear him to pieces. No, let's torture him for half an hour first, or else I won't be able to vent the resentment that took root in my heart. The gangsters commented angrily. In order to find the bastard, they searched for who knows how long. Now they all have dark circled under their eyes. They are quite sleepy, but that doesn't matter. Their hatred for Xia Ping is stronger than their desire to sleep. Don't worry, we left a lot of messages all around the jungle. As long as he sees them, he will learn that we caught many students, including his schoolmates. Lin Bao clenched his fists. So long as the guy has a bit of conscience, he will give in. He will obediently come to the top of the mountain and be killed by us. This is a plot that uses the students as hostages. To tell the truth, although this scheme is old-fashioned, but it is quite effective. The gangsters have previously taken hostages to threaten the police and get a chance to escape. Since the scoundrel is a student, he believes that the other party will be soft-hearted, will be unwilling to see the other students die. But it's nearly noon already, yet the guy still hasn't contacted us. What do we do when noon comes? Some gangsters are worried that the guy hasn't seen the messages they left in the jungle. If that were the case, everything they did would be pointless. It would be no different from winking at a blind person. Lin Bao snorted coldly. We have to keep our word, or else we won't be taken seriously. In short, if the guy doesn't contact us by noon, we'll start killing these idiots. His body exuded intense, murderous aura that sends chills down the spine. When the students heard these words, they turned pale in the face and shivered. No, boss, that bastard has no conscience and is vile through and through. That bastard won't come to save us. You'll be killing us for naught. When he heard Lin Bao's words, overcome with fear, Zhengda High School's Han Shan cried foul. That's right. To threaten that shameless Xia Ping with us is a pipe dream. Everyone here has a grudge against him and hates him to the bone. There's no way he would come to save us. That guy wishes for us to die. When he learns that we were caught, he might dance in celebration. Boss, you should rethink it. It's useless to threaten Xia Ping with us. It's really useless. The students shouted, aggrieved. They were met with an unwarranted misfortune. Because of that scoundrel Xia Ping, they were caught by the angry gangsters. In particular, the students from Wuwei Martial Hall are a bit green in the face from fear. They are aware that the bastard is the god of pestilence. Consequently, they went out of their way not to run into him. However, they were still implicated by the shameless scoundrel. What bad luck. There's no one else as unlucky as them. Shut up. Lin Bao stared at the students. You're lying through your teeth. You're all fellow students, so how can your relationship with him be bad? Are you trying to take me for a fool? The gangsters looked at the students with grim smiles, thinking that they're lying. Do they really believe they can escape death by saying that they and Xia Ping are foes? The gangsters won't be that easily fooled. Aggrieved that the gangsters don't believe him, Han Shan said hurriedly, Boss, we're telling the truth. We all have a grudge against Xia Ping. You don't know that scoundrel like we do. That guy's really loathsome and reprehensible. We all wish to beat him up and pray for his misfortune. The other students nodded, fully agreeing with his words. You guys, I heard that you're students from 95th High School. Your relationship with him must be good, right? Lin Bao stared at the students from 95 High School with a fierce look in his eyes. He is looking at Xiong Batian, Tao Yun, Gao Sheng, Hong Yu, and others. These people were also quite unlucky. When they went out to hunt savage beasts, they were caught and beaten up by the angry members of the band of the Cheetah. Their noses are bloody and faces are swollen. Know it all. I hate that guy to the bone, Qiu Xue said angrily. That guy once gave me a trashing in an arena and sent me to the hospital for a week. The scoundrel further gave me the nickname of Big Oaf. Since then, no one has called me Qiu Xue again. They all call me Big Oaf. I, Qiu Xue, used to be the bully of the school, with no one daring to provoke me. But ever since he beat me up, no one is afraid of me any longer. After all, who would be afraid of a Big Oaf? He faced the sky and roared. Me too. I was beaten up as well. I was sent to the hospital for a week and spent more than 100,000 on medical expenses. Gao promptly stated, a distraught look on his face. I'm the most miserable one. Tao Yun complained tearfully. He humiliated and beat me black and blue on the arena at the time. In the end, I left the arena while crying. The other students started calling me crybaby. Now people mock me whenever I go out, saying that I'm a sissy. I hate him to the bone. He cried bitterly, showing his true feelings. With their discerning eyes, the members of the band of the Cheetah quickly realized that the students aren't putting up an act. That Xia Ping is really reprehensible. Didn't expect that even people from the same school have suffered at the hands of that scoundrel. It makes sense. Since they are from the same school, they naturally have a greater chance of running into him. That scoundrel probably started targeting people from other schools after getting bored of bullying his schoolmates. *T. So that's why he beat us up several times. Why has no one punished this tyrant yet? When they heard the stories of Tao Yun and them, the students looked at one another and felt a sense of camaraderie. Everyone was cruelly oppressed by Xia Ping. Surprisingly, there are people more cruel than our band of the Cheetah in the world. When he heard the stories of the students, a gangster looked up to the sky and sighed. It appears that Xia Ping is basically a public enemy. Sooner or later, he will be a wanted criminal. He may even end up being more notorious than us in the future. For some reason, he felt a little sympathetic when he heard what the students said. The other gangsters couldn't help nodding. This Xia Ping seems to have a record. No wonder he stole their Bloodfruits and killed their people. Lin Bao, the boss of the band of the Cheetah, was at a loss. Why is this guy so detestable? If it's really like this, then trying to threaten him with the students is of no use. Toot toot. At this time, a gangster was surprised. His communicator started ringing. He said immediately, "Boss, my communicator is ringing. Someone wants to contact us." "What?" Lin Bao's eyes showed a cold gleam. "Answer it. It's probably that guy." The gangster nodded and answered. Sure enough, Xia Ping's voice came from the communicator. "Hello, are you from the band of the Cheetah? I am Xia Ping. I'm warning you. Don't bully my fellow students and friends, or I'll fight you to the death, understood?" The gangsters cheered up at once. They were not only not angry, but were ecstatic instead. Since the other party cares about the students, they can now negotiate. However, some of the gangsters gaze at the students with a fierce look in their eyes. If what they claimed just now was true, that they have a feud with Xia Ping, then there's no way he would try to save them. What's going on? Who is lying? Upon seeing the ferocious gazes, Han Shan and company turned pale in their hatred for Xia Ping's sword. Don't worry. As long as you come to the mountain range in the center of Savage Beast Island and hand over the 3 Bloodfruits, the students will naturally be fine. Conversely, if you don't come, they will suffer a miserable end. Lin Bao's tone was frigid. Are you going to kill them? Xia Ping sounded both afraid and fierce. I'm warning you. I don't care about the others. But you must not touch Xingda High School's Han Shan. That person is my good friend of many years, my sworn brother. I fell in love with his girlfriend some time ago. For the sake of our friendship, he broke up with that girl and helped us get together. That's how deep our friendship runs. You can touch anyone except Han Shan, understood? He warned the band of the Cheetah and specially mentioned the name of a person from Xingda High School. Sworn brother? And girlfriend. When they heard this, the gangsters were shocked. But the guy said that he hated Xia Ping to the bone. What's going on? Fucker, your acting skills are amazing. You had us fooled. Today's young people are something else. As in the Yangtze River, the waves behind drive on those before. So each new generation excels the last one. A gangster sighed and gazed at Han Shan with a cruel look in his eyes, filled with indignation and anger from being deceived. Han Shan was furious. If Xia Ping stood in front of him, he would have pounced on the bastard, as if his life depended on it. He wants to save him? It's more like he wants him to die. No, it's nothing of the sort. I don't know that bastard at all. I met him for the first time a few days ago. You have to believe me. Please believe me. Han Shan shouted himself hoarse, aggrieved. A gangster came forward and punched Han Shan, breaking a few of his front teeth, and then said angrily, "You're sworn brothers. To offer your girlfriend to your brother, what a friendship. Motherfucker, you still say that you met him for the first time a few days ago. What a great liar. We were almost fooled. Oh, Xia Ping, I'll kill you." Han Shan faced the sky and roared, extremely resentful. If it weren't for that bastard's big mouth, he wouldn't be this miserable. Kill my ass. You're still pretending. A gangster punched Han Shan and gave him a black eye, which formed a pair with the one he got before. Xia Ping's voice sounded again. There's still my childhood friend Qiu Xue, who's been my friend for many years. We've been through thick and thin. When we were little, he would often give me his toys to play with. He's my blood brother. You can't touch him. By the way, there's still Tao Yun. His older sister is my third girlfriend. He is basically my brother-in-law. You can't touch him either, or else I'm going to be in trouble with his beautiful older sister. Gao Sheng and Hong Yu are both good friends I made during the last 3 years. By studying hard and going to brothels together, we've become quite tight. He named several people in a row and stated that these people are his best friends and must not be touched, or else he won't bring the Bloodfruits. However, the more Xia Ping spoke, the angrier the gangsters became. Their lungs nearly exploded from anger. They stared at the students with ferocious glints in their eyes. The surrounding atmosphere became tense. Young people are something else. They're all first-class actors. Lin Bao, the boss of the band of the Cheetah, said gloomily, "Do you think we, uncouth fellows who quit high school before graduating, are fools that can be deceived easily? However, you are really amazing. You have what it takes to study at first-rate universities. To be this good at deceiving others despite still being in high school, truly amazing. I admire your acting skills." The calmer he sounded, the better the people around could feel his inner anger. As a wanted criminal, a notorious wanted criminal, and the boss of so many gangsters, he is experienced and knowledgeable and has committed innumerable crimes. Such a gangster boss was actually fooled so thoroughly by several wet-behind-the-ears high school students like an idiot. What a disgrace. Drag them out and beat them for half an hour. Lin Bao said flatly, "No, it's nothing of the sort. We really have a feud with Xia Ping. That bastard is lying. He's lying. He's rotten to the core and won't shrink from any crime. Boss, you have to believe us. Don't believe a single word that bastard Xia Ping says. Shameless Xia Ping. If we really die, we'll haunt you as ghosts." The students wailed, overwhelmed with grief. Their hatred for Xia Ping seeped into their bones. But no matter how they wailed and struggled, the gangsters didn't believe anything they said, thinking that they were just acting. They dragged out the students and started pummeling them. After the beating was over, the students changed beyond recognition. Even their parents won't recognize them now. His words cannot be trusted. Lin Bao's eyes revealed a cold gleam. "Do I need kids like you to teach me that? Boss." At this time, a gangster came over and said in a solemn voice, "I've got it. The signal emitted by the communicator is coming from a valley located 3 kilometers away. The guy is hiding there. Let's go there and kill him." Lin Bao snuck Gon Li in a valley. All the elites of the band of the Cheetah stealthily scattered to all corners and surrounded the valley from all sides. "Is it here?" Lin Bao stared at the valley. A gangster nodded. "Yes, it's here. The signal is coming from here. Moreover, the guy hasn't left this place yet. He isn't aware that the signal from his communicator has been divulged. He's probably thinking that he can negotiate with us." He smiled coldly. Sure enough, he's just a student wet behind the ears with no social experience. For him to negotiate with gangsters, isn't that akin to trying to charm a viper? In fact, they never intended to negotiate with the guy. They just wanted to find his location and shoot him dead. After killing so many people of the band of the Cheetah, the guy cannot be left alive. "Let's rush over and kill him." Lin Bao ordered the elites to rush into the valley and tear the guy to pieces. Whoosh! The elites from the band of the Cheetah, with guns in hand, moved forward quickly and closed in from all directions as fast as cheetahs. But when they went into the valley, they were stunned. There's no one. A gangster was stunned when found out that there is no one in the valley, that Xia Ping is nowhere to be seen. A gangster asked doubtfully, "What's going on? Isn't the signal coming from the valley?" "Look, there's something on the ground." A gangster with sharp eyes suddenly noticed that there is something on the ground. The others surrounded him at once. To everyone's surprise, they saw 2 communicators tied together to a twig on the yellow ground. One communicator was used to contact the band of the Cheetah, while the other was used as a medium. In other words, the other party has at least 3 communicators. The scoundrel used the 3rd communicator to contact them, making them mistakenly think that he is staying in the valley. "Damn it, we've been fooled." A gangster's expression turned ugly, feeling humiliated. They went to all that trouble to come here. But to their surprise, they found no one here. Lin Bao clenched his fists, and his eyes revealed the shade of anger. He thought that he could find the guy's whereabouts. But unexpectedly, he just found a communicator. "Boss, look, there's something else here." A gangster noticed that there is a piece of bark with words written on it next to the communicators. Lin Bao picked up the piece of bark and read, "The band of the Cheetah is buried here. Damn it, we've been had. Run." Upon seeing these words, he remembered something. His expression changed dramatically, and he shouted with all his might and had the surrounding gangsters run away quickly. However, it was already too late. Boom tilde. At this moment, the bombs buried in the valley suddenly exploded. Upwards of 100 tons of explosives exploded at the same time. Deafening explosions sounded, and the valley shook. An area hundreds of meters in radius was leveled. The gangsters nearby were blasted into pieces at once. Thick, black smoke filled the valley. Rocks collapsed, and large pits appeared all over the place. A black mushroom cloud emerged in the sky. The vibrations coming from the valley could be felt from kilometers away. Whoosh! At this time, Xia Ping, Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, and others appeared on a hill facing the valley and marveled at the power of the explosions. "Awesome!" Chu Rong couldn't help exclaiming and looked at Xia Ping in disbelief. "How on earth did you come up with this move? You actually set up such a trap and sent the gangster to heaven at once." The girls inadvertently looked at Xia Ping in admiration. If conventional methods were used, it would be extremely difficult to wipe the gangsters out. After all, they were heavily armed and had many experts. If you got close to them, only death would await you. But Xia Ping did the opposite. He had the gangsters come to a location of his choosing, where he installed explosives in advance. Unexpectedly, the plan was an overwhelming success. The gangsters were too smart for their own good. They thought that this was a great chance to deal with Xia Ping, but to their surprise, it was a trap that claimed their lives. Amazing. Jiang Yaru couldn't help but admit that the scheme was excellent. The bandits basically walked into their own graves. Moreover, they used equipment they got from the bandits, such as explosives, communicators, and more, to make a simple trap, making it even more impressive. It's nothing. Isn't it just like a scene from a crime film? Xia Ping stroked his chin and looked at the fireworks admiringly. He didn't expect things to go so smoothly. At the time, he just wanted to give the plan a try. It didn't matter whether it succeeded or not. Crime film. Jiang Yaru and them shook their heads, expressing that they didn't understand what Xia Ping was talking about. But this didn't prevent them from admiring Xia Ping. He's not only strong, but is also quite smart. However, his conduct is annoying, and he is shameless and lecherous and has a venomous tongue. Now that the gangsters are dead, the teachers will probably come soon. A girl sighed, feeling like she can finally see light at the end of the tunnel and can leave this nightmarish place. No, the jammer hasn't been destroyed. Our signal still can't be transmitted. Xu Rong's expression changed when she detected that her watch's signal still can't be transmitted. What? The girls were gobsmacked. Could it be that the violent bombs failed to destroy the jammer? Or was the jammer not with the gangsters to begin with? Xia Ping. Suddenly, as if the desperate roar of a wounded beast, a shout full of anger came from the distance. Whoosh! A charred figure ejected from the valley like a shell and rushed towards the top of the hill extremely fast, whistling through the air. The charred figure is surprisingly Lin Bao, the boss of the band of the Cheetah. He isn't dead yet. Lin Bao is surging with rage, his whole body is covered in blood, and his hair is standing, giving off a burning smell. But at the same time, an extremely dangerous aura is emanating from him. The eyes of Jiang Yaru and company constricted. They felt that this person is really dreadful. Even though he was injured, but he seems to have the strength to kill them all. You're still alive? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows as he looked at Lin Bao. Xia Ping, you deserve to die. You deserve to die for killing so many of my brothers. Lin Bao, the boss of the band of the Cheetah, stared fixedly at Xia Ping, seething with anger. No one knows how furious, how irate he is now. It was because of his negligence that they fell into the trap of this damn brat, which led to the death of virtually all the elites of the band of the Cheetah. He even took the crazed pill to stimulate his body's potential and promote to the quasi-martial practitioner realm temporarily. With superhuman reflexes and speed, he barely managed to escape the scope of the bombs. I deserve to die. Upon hearing this, Xia Ping smiled and sneered. You are allowed to kill us, yet we are not allowed to fight back? You are really naive. Or in other words, you underestimated us. Be careful. Xu Rong's eyes twinkled. His aura is unusual. It's not just at the 9th layer martial apprentice realm. I can faintly detect martial practitioner realm power. However, it's quite strange. This power is unstable and seems like it will drop at any time. The girls felt that Lin Bao's aura is unusual, much like a wounded beast. Although it is on the verge of death, but it is extremely dangerous. At its last-ditch effort, you might actually end up between its teeth and die. I heard that there's a pill called Crazed Pill. Jiang Yaru said in a deep voice, this pill can stimulate the body's potential and make a 9th layer martial apprentice step into quasi-martial practitioner realm temporarily. But its side effects are nothing to joke about. It will consume more than a decade of your lifespan, and may even sever your hope of entering the martial practitioner realm. I think the gangster should have taken a similar pill. We must be more careful. Lin Bao sneered when he heard this, as expected of a top student. You're really knowledgeable. Yes, in order to survive the explosion, I had to take the crazed pill to upgrade my power temporarily. However, by taking this valuable crazed pill, my lifespan was shortened by a decade. Now it will be nearly impossible for me to reach the martial practitioner realm throughout my life. In order to kill you, I wasted my future prospects and burned my lifespan. Do you understand how much I hate you now? I, Lin Bao, swear to skin you and tear you into countless pieces. Otherwise, won't I be letting my dead brothers down? He screamed at the top of his lungs, and a murderous aura gushed out of him. Boom tilde. In an instant, Lin Bao lunged forward like a mad leopard and whistled through the air, leaving only in blur in the air. So fast. Jiang Yaru and company were shocked. This speed has surpassed the limits of the 9th layer martial practitioner realm, has reached a level where the other party cannot be seen clearly with the naked eye. Lin Bao shouted angrily and unleashed his unique fist art, the Mad Leopard Fist. Lightning Leopard Devour. This is a pinnacle move that surpassed the 9th layer martial apprentice realm and reached infinitely close to the martial practitioner realm. This punch condensed the strength he built up throughout his life and contained his overwhelming hatred. The true chi inside him burned wildly, his blood boiled, and faint cheetah roars sounded. If an ordinary person was faced with this punch, their legs would go soft from fear before it even reached them. Be careful. Jiang Yaru and them couldn't help shouting. They can tell that the punch contains a terrible force. It must not be received head-on, or else your heart will be crushed and your body will be blown to pieces. But Xia Ping didn't move. He just stood in place, calm and composed. Boom! The fist slammed into Xia Ping's chest heavily. All of a sudden, a blare sounded in the ground, as if unable to bear the impact, cracked. Furthermore, in the ground where Xia Ping stood, a deep pit appeared and his feet sank inside. The entire hill rocked unsteadily. How was that possible? Lin Bao's face showed a look of alarm. He thought that his fist would be enough to decide the outcome. So long as it hit the guy, his heart would be pulverized and he would die. But although his fist hit the other party's chest, it didn't kill him. Instead, it felt like the fist slammed into a mass of cotton, which weakened the power the fist packed. What shocked him even more was the fact that he failed to force the other party to take even half a step back. However, Lin Bao has no way to know that Xia Ping cultivated the top-shelf body protection art, Biming body protection art. Thanks to it, when he was in the 7th layer martial apprentice realm, he could forcibly block 9th layer martial apprentice realm attacks without taking any damage. After he promoted to the 8th layer martial apprentice realm, his body protection art became even more formidable. Now, even powerhouses who recently stepped into the martial practitioner realm cannot kill him with one blow. Not to mention Lin Bao, who barely managed to attain quasi-martial practitioner realm strength by consuming a crazed pill. He is even more unlikely to cause him any harm. On the contrary, he is helping him cultivate. This punch was pretty good. It packed some strength. Xia Ping looked at Lin Bao flatly, as if he were looking at someone doing something pointless. He condensed a tremendous force of 20,000 caddies in his right hand and unleashed a palm strike, and a loud rumble sounded in the air. No! Lin Bao issued a shrill scream, his face death pale. He came here to kill Xia Ping, not to hear the other party praise his punch. But it's too late to run away. His punch condensed all the strength he built up throughout his life. Having used up his strength, he cannot muster any more strength momentarily. Right now, he can't even dodge, let alone run away. Bang! The palm heavily slapped Lin Bao on top of his head. With a crack, the top of his skull shattered, his brain burst apart like a watermelon, and blood scattered. With a gang, Lin Bao's whole body pierced into the ground and made a human-shaped pit in the ground. The earth trembled and dust billowed. Lin Bao died. This. Chu Rong and them were flabbergasted. They didn't expect such a thing to happen. The gangster boss unleashed a punch that contained all his resentment and condensed all the strength he built up throughout his life. But the youngster stood still and received the other party's attack without any complaints. Afterwards, the youngster slapped him and smashed his brain. The gangster boss probably didn't expect that he would meet such a miserable death. Jiang Yaru was speechless. The gangster boss died with anger seething in his eyes. In order to kill Xia Ping, he took the crazed pill. He sacrificed 10 years of his lifespan and severed his hope of promoting to the martial practitioner realm. That's some kind of determination. But now he was swatted to death by a palm strike like a fly. This is the jammer. Let's just destroy it. Unlike the girls, Xia Ping didn't have so many superfluous thoughts swirling in his mind. He stepped forward and found a black jammer hanging from Lin Bao's waist. He stepped on the jammer and crushed it. Leisure Island. This is an island located 20 kilometers away from Savage Beast Island. It has bars, water parks, various gourmet restaurants, and other entertainment facilities. Moreover, it has beautiful scenery and limpid seawater. Many people like to come here for vacation. There is an airship parked in a special parking lot. The teachers and the crew, who came together with the students for the trial by fire, came to enjoy themselves in this place during the 5-day rest. After all, this is a rare vacation for them. Aboard the airship, there is crew member staying on duty. He is sleeping. A newspaper covering his face and a cup of hot coffee and half of a milk bread are placed on the desk in front of him. Toot toot. At this moment, an alarm went off aboard the airship and the airship vibrated. The crew member jumped up at once and accidentally knocked down the cup of coffee. The coffee spilled on the ground. What's going on? Has a student that can't withstand the harsh environment of Savage Beast Island thrown in the towel? The crew member rubbed his eyes and looked at the red dots on the display screen. A red dot indicates that a person has forfeited and needs to be rescued. No, what's going on? Why are there so many red dots? Has practically everyone forfeited? Upon seeing the dense red dots on the screen, the crew member's expression changed greatly. He realized at once that something big happened. This level of forfeiture is unprecedented during a trial by fire. Moreover, the distress signals were sent 2 days ago, yet we received them just now. Has someone blocked the signals coming from Savage Beast Island? Thinking till here, the crew member's hair stood on end. He doesn't know why someone would do such a thing. The only thing he knows is that he can't handle this on his own. The captain must be informed immediately. 3 minutes later, the ship left Leisure Island and headed towards Savage Beast Island at top speed. The captain, the crew, and the teachers of the various schools aboard the airship all have dignified looks on their faces. Just moments ago, they were enjoying the beach, seawater, and delicious food on Leisure Island. But because of this incident, they had to return to the airship at once. Damn it. Captain Luo Jian spoke with a gloomy expression on his face. Why did the students send distress signals, and why did we receive them 2 days later? Is everyone here a good-for-nothing? Someone blocked the signals coming from Savage Breast Island and carried out a signal simulation. At the same time, we were careless and didn't check things carefully. As such, we didn't find anything amiss. Several crew members felt ashamed. This was a dereliction of duty on their part. Enough with the excuses. How long will it take to reach Savage Beast Island? Qiu Xue stared at the captain and emitted a terrifyingly baleful aura. She's currently not in the mood to investigate why this happened. She just wants to arrive at Savage Beast Island as soon as possible and rescue the students. Everyone present is aware of how serious the situation must be for the students to send out distress signals collectively. It must be something they can't handle, something that forced them to ask for help. In other words, the students are in danger. We're moving at top speed. We'll be there in 3 minutes. A crew member replied immediately. 3 minutes passed in the blink of an eye, and the airship reached the sky above Savage Beast Island. Look, there's students tied up at the top of a mountain in the middle of Savage Beast Island. According to the information transmitted by the distress signals, a crew member used the airship's scanning system and found a group of students tied up at the top of a mountain. Judging by their bruised faces, the students were beaten pretty badly. There are several gangsters with guns next to the students. These gangsters didn't leave together with Lin Bao. After all, they still needed people to guard the captive students. This is the reason why they luckily survived. *T. It seems like these gangsters found something on the island and thus messed with the students. Upon seeing the images on the screen, Captain Luo Jian's face fell. He immediately realized that the gangsters aren't good people. The other party is aware that they are in a hopeless situation, on a deserted island no less. There are no escapes here. In their despair, they must have taken hostages. Open the cabin door. Qiu Xue said coldly. What? The people aboard the airship looked at Qiu Xue in disbelief. We're 300 meters above the ground. Why do you want to open the cabin door? A stunned crew member looked at Qiu Xue in disbelief, thinking that she's crazy. Qiu Xue ignored the other party and went forward at once. She pushed the button for the emergency opening of the cabin door. With a pop, the cabin door opened, and a fearsome wind erupted. Whoosh! Before the others could understand what Qiu Xue wanted to do, she jumped out and fell from the height of 300 meters like a shell. Crazy! The other people watched Qiu Xue fall down in shock. Even if it is a martial practitioner, they'll be broken into pieces and die if they fall from such a height. Boom tilde. In just a few seconds, Qiu Xue reached the ground. With a loud rumble, she slammed into the ground like a meteor, and a fearsome vibration rose in the ground. She made a huge pit in the ground. Along with cracking sounds, hundreds of cracks spread out with the pit as the center and extended for several kilometers. The whole mountaintop was covered with dense cracks. Some rocks were shattered by the powerful impact. But Qiu Xue was unscathed. When they saw this, the gangsters who originally wanted to shoot the students were stupefied. How could someone jump down from such an altitude? But the students, who thought that they were going to die, were overjoyed. The students from 95th High School in particular were teary-eyed and shouted in surprise. Teacher, you came. Don't come any closer, or I'll shoot them. The gangsters were scared. This woman is a monster. She fell from a height of 300 meters, yet she didn't take any damage. Is that something a human can do? You want to shoot them? In front of me. You won't even have the time to pull the trigger. Qiu Xue's beautiful eyes glimmered coldly, and she unleashed a palm strike. In an instant, as if the world entered winter, the temperature dropped sharply. Bang bang. Before the gangsters could realize what hit them, before they could so much as blink their eyes, a cold current hit them and turned them into ice statues. However, the students were unscathed and couldn't feel any cold. This shows how superb her martial arts technique was. Along with several brittle sounds and a strong wind, the gangsters encased in ice broke into countless pieces. Too strong. Struck dumb, the students looked at the beautiful woman in disbelief. She's so powerful. Even Xia Ping, who just arrived at the top of the mountain, was shocked when he saw this amazing scene. Teacher. At this time, Xia Ping and the girls walked over. Jiang Yaru greeted Qiu Xue immediately. They were very shocked. They didn't expect that an ordinary teacher would be so powerful. In one shot, she killed all the gangsters. Not even one was able to escape. Are you okay? Qiu Xue was surprised to see Xia Ping and the girls. Seeing that they were in a good condition, she felt happy at once. She was glad that there are some students who weren't harmed by the gangsters. Teacher, of course they're okay. We're the ones who aren't okay. A person shouted in grief and indignation and glared at Xia Ping fiercely, as if he wanted to eat him alive. Qiu Xue was stunned. Looking at the guy whose head looks just like a pig head, she asked, Who are you? Are you a student from 95th High School? Teacher, don't you recognize me? I am Xion Bachan, shouted the person. Qiu Xue's mouth twitched. How did you become like this? She really can't tell that this person is Xiong Batian. After all, with the miserable state his face is in, he is beyond recognition. It's all thanks to Xia Ping. Xiong Batian yelled in grief and indignation. If he hadn't been seriously injured, he would get up at once and fight the scoundrel Xia Ping with all his might. Don't throw at people random accusations. I didn't hit you. Xia Ping felt wronged. Xiong Batian flipped out. You didn't hit me, but you ran your stinky mouth and provoked the gangsters, who then pulled us aside and gave us a trashing for half an hour. An entire half an hour. He is aggrieved to the extreme. It was the darkest half an hour of his life. He was pampered and spoiled since he was little and had never been beaten like this. If the scoundrel Xia Ping didn't run his mouth and said that they were childhood friends, this wouldn't have happened. This bastard obviously wants to see him dead. Teacher, punish him. This guy is the devil, is evil incarnate. That's right. He will stop at nothing in doing evil and is more vicious than poison itself. He caused us so much misery. If it were not for the fact that we were lucky, we would have died because of him. If he isn't punished, then even if we die, we'll never let him get away with it. We won't be able to rest in peace. A group of students whose faces looked like those of pigs jumped out, denounced Xia Ping, and asked for severe punishment. They are in a miserable state, not unlike Xiong. They wanted to shout at the top of their lungs at first, but that felt really painful. After uttering a few words, it aggravated the wounds on their faces, which hurt like hell. Who are you? Qiu Xue was a little confused. She can recognize these people. The several people had no choice but you to introduce themselves. I'm Tao Yun, I'm Gao Sheng, I'm Hong Yu. Qiu Xue was speechless. How did the top students of her school become like this? Although other students were beaten as well, but they don't look as miserable as them. It felt like they were ran over by a car several times, like they underwent a botched plastic surgery. Are you okay? Xia Ping greeted. Okay, my ass. The noses of Tao Yun and them scrunched up from anger. Just by looking at them, you can easily tell that they're not okay. Yet the scoundrel is acting like nothing happened. If it weren't for this bastard, there's no way they would be this miserable. Teacher, this bastard is really wicked. He wants to have us die. He instigated the gangsters to beat us for half an hour. Tao Yun shouted, Teacher, if you don't punish him, we won't be satisfied. Xia Ping felt wronged, saying, what's going on? I did speak with the gangsters at that time. However, since I was worried about your safety, I emphasized your names so that the gangsters wouldn't harm you. But you didn't appreciate it. On the contrary, you're now reproaching me, claiming that I'm wicked. That's really ungrateful. It's hard to be a good person nowadays. There are now few people who repay good for bad like myself. He sighed with sorrow repeatedly, feeling that his goodwill was not being appreciated. Good person, my ass. Tao Yun and them were so angry that it seemed as if steam was about to rise from their heads. If you're a good person, then there are no bad people in the world. Besides, if it wasn't for what you said, the gangsters who had been moved by their words wouldn't have beaten them up. But when this guy opened his pie hole, he turned them into liars, which enraged the gangsters and made them more violent. Asshole, enough with your sophistry. Qiu said angrily. Do you see Xingda High School's Han Shan? He got it worst of us all. He was beaten for 45 minutes and then passed out and started frothing at the mouth. It's all your fault. He pointed to Han Shan lying on the ground. His face is all swollen up, as if he was stung by a swarm of bees, and he is frothing from the mouth. He looks like a critically ill patient. We should give treatment without delay. Xia Ping put forward a suggestion. When she heard this, Qiu Xue came back to her senses immediately and said, yes, right, we need to dress your wounds. Let's board the airship first and then talk. At this time, the airship descended and reached the top of the mountain. Xiong and them had no choice but follow Qiu Xue instructions and board the airship for treatment. Helpless. Moreover, their injuries were quite severe and had to be treated as soon as possible. Whoosh! After the airship picked up the students, it headed back to Skywada City. In the end, 5 or 6 students died and more than 100 were injured. Only a dozen plus were not injured. In addition to Xia Ping and company, only a few students who hid in remote places and were lucky not to be found by the gangsters were fine. Qiu Xue and them soon learned the entire story behind this incident. No one could have expected that a group of gangsters would appear on Savage Beast Island. Nevertheless, it was their oversight. But this incident is really serious. If it is leaked, it will be a great blow to the reputation of the 10 schools. It may lead to denouncement from angry parents and catch the attention of the media. So they decided to seal off the information. Every student was given a body-tempering pill as hush money. Xia Ping and company made great contributions. They killed many bandits and saved the lives of many students. As a result, each of them was rewarded with 3 pills. Although Xiong and them were angry, but there was nothing they could do. Naturally, the trial by fire could not be continued. Everyone decided to return to Skywada City at once and send the seriously injured students to the hospital for emergency treatment. The return journey went smooth. A few hours later, the aircraft arrived at 95th High School Sports Field. When the airship arrived in Skywada City, it was already evening. The students have already left the school grounds. There is no one in the school except for security guards. After Xia Ping alighted the airship, he left the school and went back home. Anyway, the rest has nothing to do with him. The teachers will naturally take care of the wounded students. Along the way, his phone started vibrating and issuing prompts from time to time, as if a lot of notifications are being received. When he went to Savage Beast Island for the trial by fire, he had to turn off his phone wand and leave it in the airship. Naturally, he had no way to know if someone contacted him during this period. Editor Meng Fei. Xia Ping picked up the phone and saw that he missed dozens of calls and 15 or 16 video call requests. The most recent notification was from half an hour ago. What's the matter? Why is he so anxious to contact me? He subconsciously clicked the video call button. Immediately after, the video call was successfully connected, and Meng Fei's image was projected. The other party uttered with an elated look on his face, I'm finally able to get in touch with you. That's great. Mr. Blackheart Wolf, where have you been these days? Why couldn't I get in touch with you? I want to participate in my school's trial by fire. Xia Ping briefly explained what he has been up to these days. By the way, why were you so desperate to contact me? Did something major happen? Indeed, something major did indeed happen. Meng Fei smiled immediately. Have you perhaps forgotten? More than a month has passed already. The royalties for your book have been sent to your bank account. I just wanted to inform you. Congratulations, Teacher by Rong is a hit this month. After so many years in this business, such a grand occasion is a first for me. The novel has been read by millions of people. He was really emotional. No one knows about the novel's popularity better than him. A hit. Xia Ping is aware that his novel is popular, but not to what degree. Seeing Xia Ping's dumbfounded expression, Meng Fei uttered, clearly disappointed with other parties' reaction. Mr. Blackheart Wolf, why don't you take a look and see how much money you have in your bank account first? Upon hearing this, Xia Ping subconsciously opened his bank account. A series of digits appeared in front of him at once. He was amazed. No way. More than 50 million federal credits. Is there some kind of mistake? When he saw the number in the bank account, he was struck dumb. It is more than 50 million federal credits. This is a huge sum, and it's completely legal. It's unlike the gold potions and Bloodfruits he obtained before. Although these items were really valuable, but they could not be cashed out and could not be used to improve the life of his family. There's no mistake. It's indeed more than 50 million. Meng Fei smiled when he saw Xia Ping's surprise and revealed a look of excitement. Did you know? Teacher by Rome sold more than 4 million copies this month. Furthermore, the novel's momentum shows no signs of decreasing. I was wrong. This novel can sell not only more than 10 million copies, but even if it's more than 50 million copies, it won't be surprising. It may even exceed 100 million copies. If someone told him a month ago that an erotic novel might sell more than 100 million copies, he wouldn't believe it. He would think that it's lunacy. But now it's different. This phenomenal erotic novel has broken all sale records and shocked the eyes of countless people with irresistible force. 100 million copies. Xia Ping's pupil shrank. A copy costs 25 federal credits. If it sells 100 million copies, then according with the 50-50 distribution, he can get more than 1 billion federal credits. And that's after tax. Can that even be called earning money? It's clearly robbery. No, even robbery cannot earn money so fast. Reportedly, even drug dealers can't have such profits. It's amazing. There are top novelists whose annual income exceeds 1 billion. In the past, he just treated it as news. He didn't expect that he would soon step across this threshold and enter the realm of top novelists. It's really incredible. This is a huge sum of money. Han Shan is insufferably arrogant. His family, who started a factory, has assets worth 1 billion. Furthermore, it took it more than 20 years to reach this degree. However, Xia Ping only needs 1 year to surpass more than 20 years of the other party's efforts. Anyone who learns of this will drop their jaw and be shocked beyond measure. In fact, the reason I was so desperate to contact you is because there is something I have to discuss with you, Mr. Blackheart Wolf. Editor Meng Fei hesitated and said to Xia Ping. Xia Ping blinked. Go on. What is it? Let me explain. Meng Fei thought about how to put it, and then carried on. Due to its popularity, the novel was discovered by people in the television industry. A famous director contacted me and said he wants to adapt the novel into a TV show and shoot 100 episodes. Adapt it into a TV show? Upon hearing this, the corners of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. This is an erotic novel. How can it be adapted into a TV show? And with 100 episodes, to boot? That's way too outrageous. Upon seeing the look of surprise in Xia Ping's eyes, Meng Fei uttered, No, it's not outrageous. Don't underestimate screenwriters. Even if it's dregs, they can add a lot of seasoning to make it more palatable. If it's well received, let alone 100 episodes, even 1,000 episodes won't be a problem. Xia Ping stroked his chin. What do you think about it? You want to hear the opinion of a professional. We should take his offer. Meng Fei said immediately. If a novel is adapted into a TV show or a movie, that in itself will be great publicity. It will greatly boost the sales of the novel. I think this is a great opportunity. Xia Ping nodded his head. In his previous world, the wuxiao one master Jin Yong Tu gained an exponential rise in popularity because his novels were adapted into TV shows and movies. In terms of publicity alone, television is not something other media can compare to. It's conceivable that the novel sales will skyrocket once it is made into a TV show. By then, selling 100 million copies a year will be a piece of cake. In fact, in countries without piracy such as Japan, they are willing to make a novel into an anime, even if they lose money, all because it can greatly increase the sales of the novel and add other revenue streams. Of course, where there is piracy, there are no such advantages. Okay, we can discuss it. Xia Ping nodded. Meng Fei smiled. Great. In fact, the director also wants to talk to you about the adaptation. Let's make an appointment for tomorrow morning and have a video chat with him. He set an appointment time. Okay. Xia Ping nodded and ended the call. 1. Wuxia. 2. Jin Yong. It actually sold more than 4 million copies this month. Truly amazing. After ending the call with editor Meng Fei, Xia Ping was shocked by the novel's performance. Even though he was aware that it's an incredible novel, but he didn't expect it to achieve such performance. Right, I should go online and check the evaluation. Thinking till here, Xia Ping immediately opened the browser on his phone and searched the novel Teacher by Rome. With a ding, pages relevant to the novel popped up on the search page at once. There is a total of 89.8 million relevant results. Awesome. Xia Ping was stunned. In his previous world, if the number of relevant search results for a work reached 1 million, it would be regarded as popular. For example, the most popular manga One Piece has more than 70 million relevant search results on Baidu, making it a phenomenal work known by almost everyone. But now his novel has surprisingly reached more than 80 million search results. Even though the population of Flame Yellow Star is several times larger than that of Earth, but you can still tell that the novel is wildly popular. Number 1 on this month's sale chart. Xia Ping quickly looked at a page with a ranking of countless novels. The novel belonged to different categories, including romance, urban, Eastern fantasy, science fiction, thriller, and so on. These novels are all arranged in order. The one ranked first is Teacher by Rome, with more than 4 million copies sold. The one ranked second has sold more than 1 million copies. The gap between the novels ranked first and second is really large. Number 1 on the search chart, number 1 on the sale chart, number 1 on the popularity chart. Xia Ping was excited when he saw this. Teacher by Rome seized almost all the charts this month. Even though he didn't continue to hype it up, but due to its quality and Penguin Novels promotion, the novel still attracted countless readers. Let's take a look at Skyhawk Forum. Xia Ping entered Skyhawk Forum at once. Since there are many users in this place, it should be possible to see the reviews of many readers on Teacher by Rome. He immediately saw that the most popular post is titled, Breaking, Erotic Novel Master Jia Jue's Evaluation of this year's new novel Teacher by Rome. It is a work that may appear once in 50 years. This is what Master Jia Jue said in an interview. At first, he didn't know the novel. Later, an editor of Penguin Novels asked him to read it and give an evaluation. In response, I said that I, Jia Jue, am not a random person. I won't read a work just because you asked me to do so. After all, I have restraint. I won't read any random erotic novel. But then I still read it. After all, I am easily susceptible to flattery. Moreover, I was given money. Principles cannot stand up to money. Unexpectedly, however, I was enthralled for 3 days and nights straight. It was really something else. I haven't read such an excellent erotic novel in a long time. It narrates the romantic entanglements between a teacher and numerous men. Although the story is simple, but it is full of tension, twists, emotion, and excitement. The story is both intense and contains honest emotions. Although it is an erotic novel, it is also thought-provoking. After reading it, a faint sense of sadness and a feeling of emptiness filled my heart. Although I don't know who the author is, but I can tell that he is very intelligent. Over time, he will be able to carry the banner of erotic novels and become a master. After reading the post, Xia Ping clicked his tongue in admiration. No wonder the novel is so popular. The web editors solicited a recommendation from a renowned master. With the recommendation of a famous novelist, the novel unsurprisingly attracted even more readers. It was equivalent to an advert. The post also has the comments of a bunch of readers. A master is a master for a reason. He actually read it for 3 days and nights straight. Awesome. From this, you can't tell that the master is in his 70s. It's an erotic novel. How did the master come up with honest? Why do I only see green hats one? The master's heart was empty. In my case, however, my jewels were empty. Who knows how many tonics I have to consume to recover? Because of the master's recommendation, I went to have a look, yet before I realized, a whole day and night passed. The next day, I almost couldn't walk. I went to the hospital. The doctor said I was suffering from Shinkuei too. Hey, this novel is a scourge. After reading it, I don't know why, but I now look at my 300-plus caddies female teacher with a peculiar gleam in my eyes. The previous older brother's taste is really particular. This younger brother is in awe. Guys, let me give you a warning. That the assault of a female teacher carries a sentence of 3 years to life in prison. It's your call. Many readers commented. The atmosphere was quite lively. There were a total of 108,937 replies. From this, it is evident that the popularity of the erotic novel Master Jia Jue hasn't waned. He continued to read. Not only Master Jia Jue, but also Master Bao Pikheng has given an evaluation. The erotic novel Teacher by Rome is a rare masterpiece. Although it is a bit of a stretch to claim that it is a work seen once in 50 years. But it can be called a work seen once in 10 years without exaggeration. The story has twists, has a strong appeal, and causes an intense resonance with readers. Moreover, the novel set off a trend, a teacher trend, prompting countless erotic novelists to emulate it. The novel can be regarded as the founding block of this trend. Some people have written erotic novels about teachers before, but this author was the first one to give rise to such a trend. This is a founding block level work. I'm quite optimistic about his next work. After reading this, Xia Ping opened the website of Penguin's novel. Sure enough, he saw a lot of derivative works on the list, such as My Beautiful Teacher, Teacher Fell in Love with Me, the story that the beautiful teacher, and I have to tell, the beautiful teacher in an all-boys school, and so on. Even if these works just follow the trend and can't achieve the same results as Teacher by Rome, but they do ride the trend's coattails and are barely enough to make a living. From this perspective, it can be seen that Teacher by Rome has become a phenomenal novel as well as a benchmark in the industry and has even influenced erotic novelists. It's really popular. After reading the comments, Xia Ping felt quite exhilarated. Once his novel is adapted into a TV show, it will admittedly stimulate the trend and lead to a large increase in sales. Gurgle. Just then his stomach gurgled. He touched his belly. I feel a little hungry. Let's go back home. I wonder if Dad is home. Thinking till here, Xia Ping took a bus and soon returned home. Eins, green hat. 2. Qiu Xue. After returning home, Xia Ping saw a familiar figure busying themselves in the kitchen and sensed the smell of delicious food coming from the dining room. The person is his mother, Huang Lanxin. Mom, you were discharged from hospital? Xia Ping cried out in surprise. Huang Lanxin smiled. Yes, I'm fine already. The hospital's nutrient solution treatment is really good. The doctor told me to stay in the hospital for a couple more days, but I didn't want to. I chose to be discharged. Xia Ping found that his mother's complexion looks good and her movement is smooth. She was evidently completely cured. Furthermore, she's in a better state than she was before. The money was not spent in vain. However, the medical expenses were really high, several $100,000. When she thought about the money that was spent, Huang Lanxin felt heartache. Except for the time when the apartment was bought, she has never spent so much money in her life. Xia Ping hit his chest. It's all right. I may not have any merits, but I can make money. Just keep boasting. Upon hearing this, sitting at the dining table, his father, Xia Chuanlu, uttered with a look of derision on his face. You have another advantage, that is, you have thick skin. And you have 30% of your dad's skill. Aren't you just boasting yourself? Dissatisfied, Huang Lanxin glared at Xia Chuanlu. If our son hadn't provided the money, would you be able to procure several 100,000 credits on your own? After working for more than 20 years, you can't even earn as much as our son earns in a year. She is aware that her son paid the medical expenses. Xia Chuanlu told her everything. When Xia Chuanlu heard this, he seems to have been greatly hurt and didn't say anything else distraught. The fact that he can't make as much money as his son is a great loss of face. Mom, don't be like that. Dad's ability to spend money is still okay. Xia Ping gave his father a verbal jab. Huang Lanxin snorted. Spending money on smoking, gambling, and playing mahjong, I know all about it. This wastrel. Cough cough. If things continue like this, Xia Chuanlu feels like his position as the head of the family may be at risk. He said, Son, let's talk about the novel you wrote. This novel is really problematic. To tell you the truth, after learning that you wrote a novel, I gave it a try. Xia Ping blinked. Dad, what's the problem? What's the problem, you say? There's a big problem. Xia Chuanlu showed a sorrowful and aggrieved expression. Son, I know your situation. There's a female teacher in your class, and she's the homeroom teacher. She is young and beautiful and has a good figure. In fact, she looks like a celebrity. But she's a teacher. And you, how old are you? Things between you two can't work. Student-teacher romance has no future. Son, there are other fish in the sea. He tried to persuade his son to return to the right path. Dad, Xia Ping was speechless. But before Xia Ping could say anything, Xia Chuanlu waved his hand and assumed the expression of someone who had been around the block. Son, there's no need to say anything. I know that it's normal for students to have a crush on beautiful teachers. Back in the day, there were no beautiful young teachers in your dad's school. They were all aunties weighing more than 200 caddies. Otherwise, I may also have had a secret crush. This is what they call springtime of youth. That's right, it's called springtime of youth. However, you can't get too excited. If you do, you may attack the teacher. This is a crime. You're still young. You can't do that, got it? It carries a minimum sentence of 3 years in prison. He gazed at his son with a stern look on his face. After reading his son's novel, he realized that it's not unreasonable for it to become popular. However, the narration is too vivid. It feels like everything happened right before your eyes. If you haven't experienced it firsthand or have fantasized about doing this, and that with a teacher, there's no way you would be able to write things so vividly. Therefore, he was worried that his son might attack his teacher one day. Dad, you're overthinking it. The corners of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. Right, you were thinking about things here all day, yet you hadn't thought of anything decent. Huang Lanxin slapped Xia Chuanlu on the head, thinking that this guy is fooling around. I know what sort of person my son is. He's definitely not that brave. Of course, even if he really does that sort of thing, the teacher will be the one at fault. To dress provocatively every day, if she isn't trying to seduce the boys, then what is it? How shameless. Xia Chuanlu didn't dare to say anything. He knows his wife is jealous. If things go on like this, he'll have to sleep in the living room tonight. This is something he learned from experience. By the way, Dad, I was paid the royalties a few days ago. Xia Ping didn't want to continue to discuss this, and thus changed the topic. I want to use some of the money to improve our life. I wonder what you think. You earn money in order to buy stuff and improve your life. If you don't spend it, then it'll just catch dust in the bank. Moreover, his parents raised him for many years. If he didn't have the ability, then that would be one thing. But if he has the ability, yet does nothing, that wouldn't be right. There's no need. Keep it for yourself, son. We are still young and strong, and don't need our son to support us. Huang Lanxin looked at her son kindly, satisfied with his intentions. Xia Chuanlu was curious and asked, Royalties? Son, how much was it? It's not much. It's more than 50 million federal credits. Xia Ping said casually. Huh. Upon hearing the number, Xia Chuanlu inhaled a breath of cold air, opened his eyes wide, and asked in a trembling voice, Son, say it again. How much was the royalties? Huang Lanxin was stupefied, unable to believe her ears. As I said, it's more than 50 million federal credits. Xia Ping smiled. He fished out his phone and played with it for a moment. Immediately after, a projection appeared and showed the balance in his bank account. After seeing this scene, Xia Chuanlu and Huang Lanxin were taken aback and trembled. They have never seen such a large amount. For them, Tens of thousands of federal credits was already a huge sum of money. More than 50 million federal dollars? That's an astronomical number. So, Xia Chuanlu looked up at the sky and released a long sigh. The best investment of your dad's life was to sire you. To make more than 50 million at such a young age. That's amazing. Your dad was wrong just now. Don't you just want to pick up a beautiful teacher? That's not a problem. Go ahead, son. Even if you pick up several beauties, it doesn't matter. Whether it's nurses, doctors, salespeople, or stewardesses, bring a bunch of them. He was really emotional. His son is only 18, yet he already made so much money. And he's still going to make more in the future. In this case, engaging in student-teacher romance is nothing. Even if he wants to raise Lolas, it won't be an issue. Xia Ping was speechless. How many films did his father watch? In the future, you'll have a dozen plus children and expand the Xia family. Huang Lanqi nodded, an excited look on her face. She has plans for the future. The corners of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. He didn't expect his mother's attitude to change so much. The charm of money is indeed endless. When they learned that Xia Ping earned more than 50 million federal credits in a month, and may earn even more in the future, Xia Chuanlu and his wife became excited. They planned to use some of the money to travel around the world. When they got married, they were so poor that they didn't even have a chance to go on a honeymoon. They're going to take advantage of this opportunity to make up for it. Xia Ping naturally won't refuse them. Anyway, money is to be spent. So he gave his parents 10 million federal credits to spend however they want. This is a token of his regard as a son. As Xia Chuanlu and his wife discussed excitedly about where to travel, Xia Ping went to his bedroom to rest. Since he returned from a hectic trip to Savage Beast Island, he feels tired. Soon the night passed. Because the next day was weekend and there was no school, Xia Ping slept until 10 o'clock in the morning. After he woke up, he brushed his teeth, washed his face, and had breakfast. At this time, he returned to his bedroom and received a video call from editor Meng Fei. Xia Ping accepted the video call request. Soon, Meng Fei's virtual projection appeared in front of him and said, "Mr. Blackheart Wolf, are you free now? I'll introduce you to director." "All right." Xia Ping nodded. He recalled what editor Meng Fei told him yesterday. It seems that a director wants to adapt his novel into a TV show and shoot 100 episodes or something. Another video call request came, and he pressed accept. Then another virtual projection appeared in the room. The virtual projection is of a fatty in a black suit. The fatty is 1.67 meters tall, weighs 200 caddies, and wears a pair of black-rimmed glasses. His face looks vulgar. This is Blackheart Wolf, the author of Teacher by Rome. When he saw Xia Ping, the fatty was stunned. He can't believe that this young man is the author of the popular novel. After all, the novel's writing style is old-fashioned. It doesn't look like something that a young person can write. Yes, this is Mr. Blackheart Wolf. Editor Meng Fei confirmed, dispelling the fatty's doubts. The fatty sighed immediately. To know someone by reputation is not as good as meeting face-to-face indeed. If the fans learn that the author of the renowned Teacher by Rome is an 18-year-old, they will be shocked. "This is?" Xia Ping asked. The fatty snapped out of it and said promptly, "My name is Wang Dachui. I'm a famous director. I made famous works such as Time Stands Still, The Invisible Man, among others." He blew his own trumpet. "Oh, so it's a cock one." Xia Ping suddenly realized. Fatty Wang Dachui became mad in an instant. "What are you talking about? You're a cock. Your whole family are all cocks. Okay, I got you. I'm someone who treats everyone equally. Just because someone is a cock, I won't discriminate against them." Xia Ping waved his hand dismissively. Upon hearing this, Fatty Wang Dachui became more frustrated and protested. "I'm not a cock." Okay, let's talk about business." Editor Meng Fei quickly brought the conversation back on track. When Fatty Wang Dachui heard this, he coughed a couple of times and said, "You're right. Mr. Blackheart Wolf, I want to adapt your novel into an adult TV show and shoot 100 episodes. This is an unprecedented feat that has never been done before. If it succeeds, it will become popular all over the world and blaze a new trail. We will become celebrities and stand on a pedestal in the adult industry." He declared his lofty dream, impassioned. After all, this genre has only reached the realm of films. There has never been a TV show of this genre. As such, when he claimed that this would be a pioneering work, it was not an exaggeration. However, even after the other party talked for a long time, Xia Ping showed no reaction. Fatty Wang Dachui uttered, frustrated, "Big brother, why aren't you excited at all? After all, we're making history. We're at the forefront of this era. I only care about how much money you can give me." Xia Ping spoke straightforwardly. Upon hearing this, Fatty Wang Dachui shouted immediately, "In poor taste, that's really in poor taste. As cultured people, how can we talk about money? Talks about money will hurt our relationship." Xia Ping turned and looked at editor Meng Fei. "That is to say, this fatty is not only a cock, but also a pauper? Although I am reluctant to admit it, but he is indeed a pauper." Editor Meng Fei admitted. Fatty Wang Dachui uttered, dissatisfied, "Who is a pauper? I just so happen to not have any money. That's all. Such people are generally called paupers." Xia Ping assessed the other party calmly. When he had this, Wang Dachui was deflated at once. He suffered a critical hit. "Editor." Xia Ping turned and looked at Meng Fei. "Did you bring this fatty here just to amuse me?" "I have to say, I am successfully amused. But enough for today." Judging by the fatty's manner, He is someone who tries to capture the white wolf empty-handed too. He probably wants to get the adaptation right for the TV show without spending a dime. But this is simply a pipe dream. If the editor hadn't brought him, Xia Ping wouldn't even talk to him. No, wait. I'm really a director. I'm really a big director. Fatty Wong Dachui cried and tried to hold Xia Ping's thigh. If you give me the adaptation right, I'm sure we can get investment, shoot a popular TV show, and make you a lot of money. The corners of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. The fatty is something else. He not only has no money, but also wants to use his novel adaptation right to attract investment. His capture the white wolf empty-handed game is on another level. Mr. Blackheart Wolf, don't worry, I'm not trying to fool you. Seeing the fatty's manner, editor Meng Fei felt humiliated. But he still said seriously, Wong Dachui is indeed a capable director who made many outstanding adult movies. But this lecherous guy actually tried to solicit sexual favors from an actress. However, he failed. What's more, the actress had a powerful backer. As a result, he was kicked out of the industry. No one dares to work with him anymore. Xia Ping was speechless. The fatty is really unlucky. If he failed to solicit sexual favors from this kind of actresses, is there anything he can succeed in? In other words, you still have some skill? Thinking of this, he felt that he can have a talk with the fatty. After all, he also wants to adapt the novel into a TV show to expand the influence of the novel. Upon hearing this, Wong Dachui stood up and said excitedly, don't worry. Anyway, I have the experience. Attracting investment is nothing. Of course, it would be even better if you invested some money yourself. He looked at Xia Ping eagerly. 1. Cheetah is a term that can be used to describe the male member, and it shares a character with Wong Dachui. His name. 2. Capture the white wolf empty-handed is a Chinese idiom that means to gain something without putting in any investment. To tell the truth, after Fatty Wong Dachui was repressed, he shot several movies that flopped, which led to some investors losing their money. Now many investors hate him to the bone. It can be said that his reputation is in the gutter. He basically can't get any investment. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so wretched. After all, he did made several popular movies. You want me to invest? Xia Ping clenched his fists as the urge to hit someone surged inside him. The fatty cooked up a good plan. If Xia Ping invests, he might not even need to pay the adaptation fee. Of course. Fatty Wong Dachui said seriously, I'm not trying to deceive you. If you invest, you can have full copyright of the TV show and have 100% of the income. If it's popular, you'll be able to earn more from it than what you earn from the novel. Xia Ping's eyes twinkled. As Wong Dachui said, if he has full copyright of the TV show, his earnings will be tremendous. Besides, he has faith in the TV show adaptation of his novel. He mused out loud, if we make the TV show, where are we going to broadcast it? An ordinary TV station probably won't be able to broadcast an adult TV show. Movie theaters won't do either. Online, of course. Fatty Wong Dachui, who has already considered this issue, said excitedly, the income of online videos is no less than that of TV stations. Besides, the higher the click-through rate, the more will be earned from advertising. You may not know this, but a click on an online video's advert is worth 0.33 federal credits. If the video gets more than 100 million clicks, you can earn 33 million federal credits. However, the production cost for a video like this is 500,000 federal credits. That's about a 60-fold return. Even if it's speculation on the stock market, it won't earn you so much money. As of a salesman, he tried to coax Xia Ping. However, is it that easy for a video to get 100 million clicks? Most videos put on online only get a few clicks. There is not a small number of people who lost all the capital they invested on such endeavors. I'm a little intrigued. Xia Ping seriously considered the feasibility of this endeavor. It has low cost and high return. If it can become popular, it's indeed better to film it yourself. There's no reason to give the copyright to others. Upon hearing this, Fatty Wong Dachui struck while the iron is hot. Big brother, I have it all thought through. We'll use the new adult star Lin Bao as the female lead. She looks pure and has a hot body and can be rated as innocent-looking and big-breasted. She will certainly attract the attention of most men. We just have to find a few men. Anyway, many men would be willing to do it without pay. After several years of failure, he learned to plan meticulously and save as much as possible. Because the protagonist is a teacher, then it's best to dress her as following. Xia Ping gave his opinion. It can't be an old-fashioned uniform. It should be a black blazer and rock with a white shirt and be paired with high heels, stockings, black-rimmed glasses, and a ponytail. Big brother. When he heard this, Wong Dachui was thoroughly convinced. He looked at Xia Ping with admiration. No wonder you were able to write this masterpiece and lead a trend. You actually know so much about men's psyche. Amazing. Such a woman is every man's dream. If I had such a teacher, I would have gone to a first-rate university. He salivated just by imagining the appearance. Editor Meng Fei was also impressed. No matter how you look at it, the other party is a master that can write that kind of novel. This suggestion alone is a testament to superior skill. Just by imagining that sort of scene, they're at their limit. Cough, cough, it's nothing. Xia Ping said modestly, I don't have much skill. If you have to pinpoint why I am this amazing, then it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. If Newton heard him use this famous metaphor, he would probably turn in his grave. Let's shoot it. Let's shoot it once. Fatty Wong Dachui feels impatient. Even if it's not 100 episodes, we can shoot 10 episodes first to test the waters. It won't cost much. Just 5 million federal credits. His creative juices are flowing. He must shoot this masterpiece. He thinks this work is likely to be a turning point for him. Okay, then let's sign a contract. After contemplating for a moment, Xia Ping made a decision. Anyway, 5 million federal credits isn't much to him. It's great if it succeeds. Conversely, even if it fails, he won't suffer serious damage. After all, he received 50 million federal credits in royalties in 1 month. This bit of money is simply a drop in the bucket. Soon, editor Meng Fei formulated a contract. He specializes in this field. The 3 parties signed a contract at once, settling things for now. After signing the contract, Xia Ping transferred 5 million federal credits in a Fatty Wong Dachui's account. Big brother, don't worry. I won't ruin this work. I will display this work's charm on the screen. Fat Wong Dachui has a solemn look on his face. Xia Ping coughed. Okay, I'll wait and see. With that, he ended the video call with Wong Dachui and Meng Fei. All right, let's continue to practice cultivation. The high school martial arts competition is in 2 weeks. I can't waste time on this kind of thing. Xia Ping clenches fists. The money he made from his work is just a means to an end. And the end is martial arts cultivation. He has his priorities straight. At this time, editor Meng Fei and Fatty Wong Dachui are having a video call with one another. Big brother Meng, thank you. If it weren't for you, I might not have gotten a chance to turn things around for the rest of my life and would be forced to quit the industry. Wong Dachui is really grateful. Meng Fei waved his hand. It was nothing. You have to grasp the chance yourself. Don't screw up again, or else even a god won't be able to save you. Of course, I have faith in this work. Wong Dachui is full of confidence. Judging by the content and popularity of this work, it fundamentally can't fail. Furthermore, if the author's identity is revealed when the videos are released, it will serve as excellent publicity. He has thought of a series of publicity stunts. Xia Ping didn't expect that the damn fatty plans to put him in a predicament. How long will it take to finish filming the 10 episodes? Meng Fei asked. Wong Dachui responded after a moment. It will take 3 days to shoot 1 episode. However, if it's urgent, 1 day will be enough. I am known as Sharpshooter Director Wong in the industry. There's nothing I can't take care of. Coupled with the post-production, 2 weeks should be enough. Meng Fei is aware that 3 days is enough to shoot an episode. Unlike an ordinary TV show, it doesn't take as long. At this time, Skywada City's Zhengda community at Zhou Tian's blown-apart house. Thanks to machinery and construction workers, the house quickly recovered its original appearance. It now looks no different from before. In this era, 3D printing technology is well developed. As long as you have enough money, a house can be printed in 1 day, and it can withstand a magnitude 8 earthquake. Mr. Du Guan. At this moment, a middle-aged lawyer in a black suit standing beside the villa said to the middle-aged man with muscled physique and bearded face in front of him, "You are Zhou Ding's big brother and his only immediate family. Since he died because of an accident, his estate naturally goes to you. If there are no issues, please sign these." He took out a stack of legal documents. "I got it." The middle-aged man called Zhou Quan nodded expressionlessly and signed the stack of legal documents quickly. The middle-aged lawyer nodded. "Okay, now that you have signed the documents, I will take my leave. I will contact you again after the estate is dealt with." With this, he turned and left. As the middle-aged man called Zhao Quan watched the lawyer leave, his face became gloomy at once. "Younger brother, how could you die so early? Which son of a bitch killed you? No matter who it is, as long as I find their identity, I will tear them to pieces and annihilate their close relatives." He is seething with anger. When he heard that his younger brother's villa was destroyed by explosives and that his younger brother's family perished without leaving intact corpses couldn't even be found, he thought he heard wrong. But when the lawyer called in person and asked him to receive the estate, he was finally convinced that it is true. Whoosh! Suddenly, 4 or 5 men in black walked over. Judging by their ferocious-looking faces, they aren't good people. They came to in front of Zhou Quan and assumed a respectful attitude, as if they are the other party's subordinates. "Boss, I'm done with the investigation." Zhou Ding's death was indeed strange. A man in black uttered in a grave voice. His death was unmistakably murder. But when we checked the surveillance videos of the whole Xingda community, we couldn't find any clues. Before it exploded, the villa showed no abnormalities. The culprit either had excellent technical skill and was able to eliminate all traces on the surveillance videos, or he had strong martial prowess and was able to evade the surveillance equipment. Zhou Quan snorted coldly. "That's not what I want to hear. There's only one thing I want to hear. Who was the murderer?" He clenched his fists and trembled. Zhou Ding was his only brother and his sole relative, yet he's now dead. Zhou Quan can't accept it. "I'm sorry, but we need more time. We have no clues for the time being." The man in black lowered his head, ashamed. "But as long as we're given some time to investigate the suspects one by one, I believe we'll be able to find the murderer who killed Zhou Ding." He didn't expect the murderer to be so formidable at hiding his traces, to the point that even a tracking expert like him couldn't find any clues. This is something unprecedented. "I'll give you time." Zhou Quan gritted his teeth. "But you must catch the damn murderer. He must not go unpunished. To kill my, Zhou Quan's, younger brother, I'll make his entire family pay for it with their lives. Find all suspects. Rather wrongly catch 1,000 than let one go. I'll make the murderer is scared sh*tless and has horrible nightmares. Terrifying, baleful aura emanated from him, and formidable, true qi gushed out at his feet. With a bang, the earth cracked, and a huge pit appeared below his feet. This shows how impressive his cultivation base is. The men in black were overwhelmed with shock as they felt suffocating pressure assault them. The man in front of them is a martial practitioner realm powerhouse. Even though he's just a first-layer martial practitioner, but if you want to kill them, it's as easy as pie. Once you reach the martial practitioner realm and open up the Bai Wei acupoint, you'll be able to externally release true qi, and your attack power will increase tenfold. If a martial apprentice can rival 10 people, then a martial practitioner can rival 100 or even 1,000 people. Yes, boss. The men in black nodded with a dignified expression. Go. Zhou Quan waved his hand. Whoosh. The men in black exchanged a look and left quickly. Younger brother. Zhou Quan clenched his fists, a cold gleam in his eyes. I won't let your death be in vain. No matter what the other party's background is, I will have him pay with his life. Time elapsed. In the blink of an eye, 2 weeks have passed. Skywada City's high school martial arts competition will soon begin. For Xia Ping, the past 2 weeks have been tranquil yet busy. He went to class as usual. When he returned home, he entered closed-door cultivation and consumed body-tempering pills. In just 2 weeks, he felt the true qi inside him expand rapidly. He already reached the pinnacle 8th-layer martial apprentice realm. At the same time, his physical strength has increased, reaching a force of 30,000 caddies. Even his spirit force has become more powerful, further strengthening his cultivation base. The past 2 weeks weren't spent in vain. Today is the day of Skywada City's high school martial arts competition. I have to prepare. Xia Ping packed a few things, went out, and headed for the school. When he reached the school, he saw a bus parked at the school gate. Next to the bus, he spotted some acquaintances, such as Gao Sheng, Han Yu, Zhu Erqin, Tao Yun, Xiong Batian, and others. Naturally, Jiang Yaru is also present. These people are 95th high school top 10 experts, and they will represent the school in the high school martial arts competition. Xiong Batian was originally only a top 20 expert, but because of Savage Beast Island's trial by fire, his strength improved by leaps and bounds, and he promoted to a 6th-layer martial apprentice. Consequently, he surpassed the people in front of him and squeezed into the top 10. Tao Yun seems to have reached the pinnacle 6th-layer martial apprentice realm. Good morning, guys. Xia Ping came forward and greeted. Good my ass. The expressions of Xiong Batian and the others darkened and became unsightly, as if they saw some kind of pestilence. If it wasn't for the fact that they can't beat this bastard, they would have pounced on him already. Even after 2 weeks, they still remember how this damned scoundrel plotted against them on Savage Beast Island. Because of him, gangsters beat them up for half an hour. They will remember this painful lesson for the rest of their lives. Without caring about the attitude of these people, Xia Ping turned to look at Jiang Yaru. He was a little surprised. You promoted to 8th-layer martial apprentice? He can clearly feel that Jiang Yaru's aura is different from before. Yes, it broke through a week ago. Jiang Yaru revealed a serene expression. But unlike her outward appearance, she secretly felt elated. She deliberately hid for a week in order to surprise this guy. You're not the only genius in the world. Not bad. Xia Ping stroked his chin and said with emotion. You promoted to an 8th-layer martial apprentice before the competition. It seems that our school has one more opportunity to reach the finals. What? Xiong Batian and them glared at Xia Ping, and their noses scrunched up from anger. What does he mean? What does he mean by one more opportunity to reach the finals? They feel like the bastard doesn't regard them as the main fighting strength, but as cannon fodder. Although it's not wrong. After all, Skywada City is really big and has countless talents. Besides, 95th High School is just an ordinary high school with no outstanding talents. However, if you say that out loud, isn't that a clear slap to the face? Xia Ping, what are you saying? Don't you know how to talk? Jiang Yaru glared at the bastard. No matter when, this guy's mouth is always so repulsive. It's infuriating. As if he snapped out of it, Xia Ping showed an apologetic expression. I'm sorry, I told the truth accidentally. I'll pay attention next time. Pay attention, my ass. Veins bulge in the foreheads of Xiong Batian and the others. These words were even more hateful. By saying told the truth, doesn't that mean that this is what the scoundrel is thinking? Okay, enough with the chatting. Hurry up and get on the bus. We have to go to Skywada City Stadium. Teacher Qiu Xue coughed and interrupted Xia Ping. Otherwise, if things continue like this, a fight might break out. Upon hearing what Teacher Qiu Xue said, Xiong Batian and them didn't delay. Ever since Qiu Xue saved them on Savage Beast Island and they witnessed her terrifying strength, they were in awe of her. They don't dare to go against her orders. Whoosh. The people got on a bus, and then the bus rumbled and drove towards Skywada City Stadium. Qiu Xue is the one in charge. She's responsible for taking the students to the stadium to participate in Skywada City's high school martial arts competition. Conversely, the principal and vice principal have already left for the stadium to hold the opening ceremony on behalf of the school. Attention, everyone. Seeing that the students are sitting properly on the bus, Qiu Xue began to explain the rules of the competition. The high school martial arts competition is divided into 2 parts. That is the qualifiers and the finals. As you know, a lot of people are going to participate in the competition, so the outcome of the qualifiers will be decided at once. Only 16 people can qualify for the finals. The rest will be eliminated. Xia Ping and them nodded. There are a lot of participants each time the high school martial art competition is held. Since there are more than 300 schools in Skywada City and each school has 10 slots, there are more than 3,000 participants. With more than 3,000 participants, if they fight each other one by one, who knows how long that will take. Therefore, qualifiers are held to eliminate the vast majority of participants and select 16 people. Teacher, how will the qualifiers be carried out? Xia Ping is curious, wondering how the more than 3,000 people will be eliminated at one time. That's a good question. Qiu Xue smiled. The high school martial arts competition's qualifiers are different each time. Last time was running. The time before that was mountain climbing, where the participants had to climb a mountain tens of thousands of meters tall. This time, however, is special. It's survival. Survival. Xia Ping and company looked at Qiu Xue. This time's qualifiers are quite extravagant. Qiu Xue smiled. Skywada City's local government spent a lot of money to transform Skywada City Stadium into a small city. Much like a real city, it has supermarkets, restaurants, hotels, residential areas, an administrative center, and so on. However, the city is really dangerous. The army released powerful, monstrous beasts inside. You need to survive in the city for 3 days. She held up 3 fingers. What? Jiang Yaru and the others were astonished. Extravagant. It's indeed extravagant. Although technology has developed greatly, to the point that a 100-story building can be built in one night using 3D printing technology. The building won't be of a worse quality than a building made from reinforced concrete, and it will be able to withstand magnitude 8 earthquakes. But it still costs money. It costs an astronomical amount of money. They dare not imagine the stadium being transformed into a small city within a few days just for the 3-day-long high school martial arts competition. Don't be so surprised. There's a reason why it's so extravagant this time. Qiu Xue uttered. This year is the 500th anniversary of Skywada City. As such, local government decided to hold a large celebration. This is why it's so grand this year. The competition will be broadcast throughout the city, and even throughout Yangzhou region. The broadcasting rights alone are worth quite a bit, so there's no need to worry about the local government losing money. Jiang Yaru and them have a myriad of thoughts swirling in their heads. So many people will be paying attention. If they make a fool of themselves, it will be horrible. Who knows how many people will laugh at them? Xia Ping, however, is excited. With many people paying attention, isn't that a great opportunity to get a lot of hate points? This is a once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. In order to pass the qualifiers, we just have to survive in the simulated city for 3 days. Xia Ping asked impatiently. He wants to know the rules of the competition. It's not that simple. Qiu Xue shook her head. If you want to pass the qualifiers and advance to the top 16, in addition to surviving in the city for 3 days, you also need to get a token. There are 16 tokens hidden in the city. The tokens are hidden next to the most powerful monstrous beasts in the simulated city. These monstrous beasts possess martial practitioner realm strength. If you aren't careful, you will die. She has a solemn expression on her face. Xiong Batian and the others held their breath. Monstrous beasts with martial practitioner realm strength. On Savage Beast Island, just ordinary savage beasts could tear them apart. If they have to face a monstrous beast with martial practitioner realm strength, they will be torn apart even if they attack it together. Can that even be considered a fight? Isn't that just suicidal? You find it difficult? That's normal. Qiu Xue nodded. Because this is the most important high school competition of Skywada City. Only those who can do this much can be called geniuses and can become the strongest 16 high school students in Skywada City. The degree of difficulty needs to be this high in order to eliminate more than 3,000 people. I wouldn't be surprised if you were all eliminated. After all, there are so many geniuses in the world. After listening to teacher Qiu Xue's explanation, Xiong Batian and the others remained silent. As the teacher said, even if they are all eliminated, even if none of them can enter the top 16, it won't be strange. In fact, 95th High School had very few students that managed to enter the top 16 over the years. Its students basically go to this place to serve as a foil. The school doesn't expect much from them. A dozen plus minutes later, the bus arrived at a large open space in front of Skywada City Stadium. Many buses have already arrived at the open space. The top students of numerous high schools have gathered in a square. In total, 2,000 to 3,000 people have gathered together, forming a spectacular sight. Under the leadership of teacher Qiu Xue, Xia Ping and company soon alighted their bus, came to their high school's area, lined up, and waited for the start of the competition. Look, the people from Zhengda High School and Xinhua High School have come. A student shouted. When the crowd looked over, they saw 2 magnificent, 2-story-tall buses at the entrance. You can tell at a glance that the 2 buses are luxurious. Looking like they were plated with gold, they radiate blinding light. TSK. As expected of prestigious schools, they're showy. A student clicked his tongue and exclaimed, a look of envy in his eyes. These 2 schools are both prestigious schools and are classified as sister schools. However, Xinhua High School is more famous. The children of Skywada City's influential people generally will go to study to one of the 2. Although Zhengda High School is also famous, but it is no match for Xinhua High School. Whoosh! The students that alighted the golden buses seemed like they were injected with chicken blood one. They raised their heads high, looking like other students are not worth paying attention. The clothes they wear are made by hand with utmost care, using expensive monstrous beast leather polymer materials, etc. They are warm in winter and cool in summer. Furthermore, they provide a certain degree of protection. Needless to say, it is apparent that these clothes are quite expensive. They cost thousands of federal credits per item, and some cost even tens of thousands. Ordinary people cannot afford them. If you compare your lot to others, you will only torture yourself. These rich kids are in another league. Take a look at their vital energy. Each one of them possesses at least 7th layer cultivation base, and some even possess 8th layer. We can't compare with them. They eat monstrous beast meat, consume pills and potions, use all kinds of advanced instruments, are guided by famous teachers, and are given preferential treatment. The gap will only grow over time and get big. It seems that we were just a foil. We were eliminated before the competition even started. Numerous students commented one after another. Upon seeing the students from the 2 prestigious schools, they suffered a serious blow. For ordinary students like them, if their family's monthly income exceeded 10,000, it is considered that their family was in good financial situation. As for the students from prestigious schools, they spend tens of thousands in meals alone. How can they compare? Xiong Batian and them discovered that the students of these 2 schools didn't go to their allocated areas, but instead are walking towards them in a large crowd. The person at the lead is a fatty from Xinhua High School. He is 1.95 meters tall, is really fat, and is wearing a black suit. Han Shan and the other students from Zhengda High School are following behind the people from Xinhua High School like lackeys, fawning upon them. The group of people looked impressive as it approached. Xia Ping, did you provoke the people from Xinhua High School? Upon seeing these people, who have unkind expressions, head their way, Jiang Yaru couldn't help glaring at Xia Ping. Xia Ping stroked his chin. I haven't. As you know, I keep a low profile. Low profile my ass. Xiong Batian and company looked at Xia Ping with loathing. If you keep a low profile, then there is no one in the world who keeps a high profile. Who doesn't know that you often stir up trouble, make minor things big, and make big things get out of hand? The god of plague of legend is this kind of person. They all were taught a lesson by this bastard. So you are Xia Ping. At this time, the fatty in a suit and his group walked up to Xia Ping and company. By relying on his height of 1.95 meters, he looked down at Xia Ping, a proud expression on his face. Standing behind the people from Xinhua High School, Han Shan and company revealed looks of schadenfreude. I heard that you, who are from an ordinary high school, are unbridled and make trouble everywhere, even provoking people from Zhengda High School. Is that true? The fatty in a suit stared at Xia Ping and spoke in the arrogant tone of a leader questioning his subordinates. Fatty, do I know you? Xia Ping cast a sidelong glance. What? Upon hearing this, the people from Xinhua High School and Zhengda High School were stunned. Anyone with sense can tell that it's taboo to call the fatty in a suit fat. No one dares to call him so to his face. Everyone who called him that, without exception, had a miserable end. The expression of the fatty in a suit darkened, ire brewing inside his heart. He glared at Xia Ping. Lad, do you know what courtesy is? Who are you calling fatty? To talk to Feng Hetong like this, do you want me to beat you up? A student from Xinhua High School jumped out at once and yelled at Xia Ping. Han Shan also jumped in and shouted, Xia Ping, you've gone too far. You dare to talk to brother Feng Hetong like this. You should kowtow and beg for forgiveness. Otherwise, if brother Feng gets angry, you won't be able to handle it. He barked like a dog loyal to its owner. No way. This fatty is the famous Feng Hetong from Xinhua High School. It is said that he is already a 9th layer martial apprentice, that he is really powerful and talented. Didn't expect him to be so fat. A student who seems to have heard of the other party's reputation uttered in shock. Shut up. A companion next to that student covered his mouth, a flustered look on his face. You know that he's Feng Hetong from Xinhua High School, yet you still call him fatty to his face. Do you want to die? Someone called him fatty before. As a result, they had a dozen ribs broken. They howled in the hospital for a month, but no doctor dared to save them. The student was half scared to death. Is Feng Hetong so powerful? Of course, the companion whispered. His father is a council member of Skywata City and has great power. No one dares to provoke him. Council member. Everyone was astonished and looked at fatty Feng Hetong in shock. That's a powerful official. If you still don't understand, there are only 9 council members in Skywata City, and Feng Hetong's father is one of them. From this, one can imagine the other party's terror. After hearing this, Xiong Batian and the others were shocked. No wonder young masters of rich families like Han Shan are fawning all over Feng Hetong and follow him like lackeys. They can't compare to the other party in terms of background. People like Han Shan, whose family's assets are worth merely 1 billion, are numerous in Skywata City. As for Feng Hetong, his father is a council member, one of the 9 great figures of Skywata City. For him to get rid of a mere young master of a rich family is as easy as pie. Therefore, Han Shan's attitude is completely understandable. Han Shen. Upon hearing Han Shan's words, Xia Ping asked curiously, I remember you to be the boss of Zhengda High School, to be a respected individual. Have you changed your conduct and become someone else's lackey? Change your sister. When Xia Ping said this, Han Shan turned slightly green in the face, furious. No one has ever talked to him like this. Although his conduct has indeed been servile, but you shouldn't point it out, since that is a clear slap in the face. He glared angrily at Xia Ping, as wishing to pounce at the other party and bite his neck. Lad, you have a vulgar mouth on you. It's asking for a slap. With a cold gleam in his eyes, Fatty Feng Hatong suddenly struck out with his hand, which is the size of a banana leaf fan. Although he has a huge frame, but his movements are really nimble. His hand shot towards Xia Ping's face like a bolt of lightning. Xia Ping's eyes flashed, and he sent a fist flying. He was prepared for the other party's attack. Bang! When the fist and palm collided, true chi clashed and exploded, and shockwaves surged and pushed the surrounding students back by several steps and raised a large cloud of dust. At the same time, a dozen-plus-minute cracks appeared on the ground at the feet of the two people. From this, it could be imagined how fearsome the force of the collision was. When he saw Xia Ping easily block his palm strike, Fatty Feng Hatong was surprised. He narrowed his eyes and revealed a dangerous glint. As Han Shan said, "You have some skill, lad. To be able to withstand the blow of a ninth-layer martial apprentice, you have some qualification to be arrogant." Thanks to the fact that he's a ninth-layer martial apprentice and that he launched a surprise attack, he thought that there was no reason for his attack not to succeed. Unexpectedly, however, Xia Ping not only blocked it, but he wasn't even at a disadvantage. Amazing. The people of Xinbo High School were shocked. They know how powerful Feng Hatong is. He was able to become the boss of Xinbo High School not only because his father is a council member, but also because of his formidable strength. A palm strike, which can erupt with a force of 10,000 caddies, can crush a black bear, let alone a person. The lad was not only able to block it, but he wasn't even at a disadvantage. This is remarkable. The students over there, what are you doing? Stop making trouble, or else you'll be disqualified from the competition. A security guard nearby came forward and admonished at once. Despite seeing the security guard come, Fatty Feng Hatong didn't care. He just looked at Xia Ping and sneered. "But when it comes to being arrogant in front of me, Feng Hatong, you're still not qualified. Han Shan is my brother. You teaching him a lesson is the same as giving me a slap in the face. Wait a little. Once the competition starts, you'll be sorry." With that, he waved his hand and left with his group. Han Shan glared at Xia Ping and left. But he secretly felt elated. Since Feng Hatong is going to take action, the lad will surely die miserably. "I'll be sorry." Xia Ping's eyes showed a cold shade. With the security guard present, it's not convenient for him to act. But once they enter the arena, Feng Hatong won't be his opponent. At Savage Beast Island, even though the captain of the band of the Cheetah took a crazed pill and promoted to the quasi-martial practitioner realm, he was not Xia Ping's opponent. He was blasted apart with a punch. For Feng Hatong, a mere ninth-layer martial apprentice, to act haughtily and put on airs in front of him, isn't that seeking death? This damn troublemaker. Xiong Batian and the others became slightly green in the face. The competition hasn't started yet, when a scoundrel has already provoked a powerhouse from Xinbo High School. Aren't they screwed once the competition begins? They already knew that the scoundrel is not a decent person, that he's a god of pestilence. But they didn't expect him to be so hateful. Kaboom! At this time, a huge white airship appeared in the sky. It docked quickly on the square and opened its gate, and students dressed in a white school uniform alighted. Although the clothes these students wear are ordinary, but the people themselves exude a strong martial aura, as if they're savage beasts. The whole place seems to be stifled by them. Impressively, they're all ninth-layer martial apprentice rank powerhouses. Students from First High School, a student whispered. Everyone was shocked. First High School is regarded as the best school in the entire Skywata City. It is not a private school, but a public school, and its tuition fee is really low. However, its entrance exam is exceptionally difficult. Only the most outstanding students in Skywata City can go to this school. Students from other schools fundamentally cannot compare with them. In the high school martial arts competition held by Skywata City, a total of 108 high schools are taking part. In the past 100 events, all champions have come from First High School. First High School can be regarded as the undisputed champion. Without a doubt, this group is the champion of this time's high school martial arts competition. There are people claiming that the competition centers around people from First High School, with the other schools playing second fiddle. Although people from other schools are unwilling to admit it, but when they saw the students from First High School alight the airship, the idea that they can't beat them took root in their heart. Look, it's Qin Muyang, First High School's strongest expert. He's a pinnacle ninth-layer martial apprentice and seems to be on the verge of breaking through to the martial practitioner realm. A student stared at a young man in a white school uniform in the front. It is said that his father is the mayor of Skywata City, that the Qin family is one of the greatest families in Skywata City. He was born with a silver spoon in the mouth. People born with outstanding talent and a silver spoon in the mouth are perfect. Qin Muyang is favored to win this time's high school martial arts competition. It is said that even in First High School, he is ranked first and has an overwhelming lead. People discussed and looked at the students from First High School with envy. If people from Zhengda High School and Xinbo High School are regarded as outstanding individuals, then people from First High School are true geniuses. Anyone who can go to this school is a martial arts genius and can be ranked in the top 10 in any other school. The people from First High School seem to be used to the attention. Without caring about it, they followed their teachers and went to the area assigned to their school. Boom tilde. After the white airship, a pink airship arrived. When the pink airship's gate opened, beautiful girls alighted, stunning everyone present. They looked like a female idol group. They're girls from Shilon High School. No way. They're from the legendary elite all-girls school. Yes, it's that school. It said that girls who go to that all-girls school either possess excellent academic achievements or come from rich families. It's a genuine elite all-girls school. I didn't expect to see girls from Shillong High School here. How lucky. They usually stay in the school and rarely go out. Once they go out, they're surrounded by a large number of followers. It's a great place to raise young ladies. The students discussed as they stared at the girls that alighted the pink airship. Unperturbed by the uproar around them, the girls walked straight ahead. The girls are the focus of everyone's attention as they walk towards their assigned area. Wait, isn't the one in front Nangong Wu, the princess of Skywatch City? A male student exclaimed when he saw the girl with long hair walking in front. The crowd looked at once and saw a breathtaking girl with beautiful long hair, a gorgeous face, a slender, curvaceous figure, and emotive eyes. In particular, the legs are really slender and the waist is really slim. She is simply an unattainable goddess. That's right, she's Nangong Wu. It said that she is the Nangong family's princess and its sole legitimate heir. The Nangong family is the richest and most powerful family in Skywatch City. It is in control of a fleet and is called the Overlord of Fishery. It is worth more than 10 billion. Furthermore, it is involved in the food and beverages, real estate, and other industries. If you marry the Nangong family's princess, then you'll be like a carp leaping through the Dragon Gate and gain a fortune. When lined up, those who wish to marry her can link the city from one end to the other. You're not qualified. After her photo came out, she was selected by the netizens as the most ideal marriage partner and gained countless suitors. It said that even Qin Muyang is pursuing her. He even went to the Nangong family to propose, but didn't succeed. The students discussed as they gazed at Nangong Wu from Shillong High School with a fanatical glint in their eyes. This princess-like figure is the center of attention wherever she goes, emanating a hard-to-forget charm. Some people noticed that Qin Muyang, who had been arrogant and expressionless until now, that his face registered a change the moment he saw Nangong Wu, as if he wants to talk to her. But he restrained himself from doing so. Shillong High School. As he watched the girls, Xia Ping's eyes twinkled like he thought of something. Xia Ping, you're not having any bad ideas, are you? The sensitive Zhang Yaru suddenly noticed that the look in Xia Ping's eyes is suspicious, as if he wants to do something bad. When he heard that, Xia Ping felt wronged and shouted, "You're too much. Do I look like the kind of person who would do bad things? You shouldn't judge a book by its cover." Utter rubbish. Xiong Batian and the others looked at Xia Ping with despisal. You scoundrel are undoubtedly that kind of person. Besides, you not only never do good things, you specialize in doing bad things. No one is more hateful than you. By the way, they suddenly thought of something. It is said that Xia Ping is lecherous, despicable, and shameless, and has many girlfriends. He supposedly impregnated a large number of high school girls. Does this bastard want to extend his clutches to the young ladies of Shillong High School? Suddenly their expression changed dramatically. That's terrible. These beautiful girls are like white rabbits being eyed by the big bad wolf. Oh, the humanity. If he doesn't take advantage of another, it's a miracle. Perhaps these clutches have already reached some girls from Shillong High School. Ding. Before Xiong Batian and them could say anything, a huge screen was projected in the air above the square, and then a middle-aged man in a black suit appeared. He is Chun Hai, the person in charge of this time's competition. Dear students, Chun Hai uttered, I believe you already know the rules of the qualifiers, so I won't go into detail. I just want to say one thing to you. In a minute, the staff will provide you a smartwatch. The smartwatch will display the map of the simulated city and the location of the tokens. You can find the tokens according to the watch's instructions. You can't bring anything except this watch. Otherwise, it will be regarded as cheating, and you'll be eliminated immediately. If someone wishes to forfeit, they can press a button on the watch to quit the competition. Well, that's all for the explanation. Good luck. At this point, the projection in midair disappeared. Whoosh. Next, staff members came to each school and handed out watches, one for each student, and had them wear the watch on the right wrist. When Xia Ping received the watch, he pressed a button, and a virtual map of the simulated city appeared in front of him. But on the map, there are the number 1053 and the words 8th area displayed. Seeing the look of doubt on Xia Ping's face, the staff member explained, "This is your number and randomly assigned area. The whole simulated city is be divided into 16 areas. You are randomly assigned to one of the 16 areas. This is a measure to prevent powerful schools from uniting and eliminating the other students, which would be unfair." Xia Ping nodded in understanding. If the students were not randomly scattered, it would likely devolve into a confrontation between schools. Students from weak schools would be at a great disadvantage. After getting the watch and learning which area you are assigned to, please head to the gate of said area and wait for the competition to begin. The staff member then said to Xia Ping, "Thanks." Xia Ping nodded, and then turned and walked towards the 8th area. The other students also began to move towards their assigned areas. After all, the competition will begin in an hour. There's no time to waste. So this is the 8th area. A few minutes later, Xia Ping came to the 8th area and looked up. A huge city gate is towering in front of him. The surrounding steel wall is 100 meters tall. It is a magnificent sight. The simulated city is surrounded by a circular steel wall and is divided into 16 areas and 16 gates. In terms of surface area, it is large enough to accommodate 1 million people. 3,000 people is like a drop of water into the ocean. Everyone, check your things, and then assemble in front of the gate. A staff member greeted. In front, there's a metal detector. It can detect if you are carrying any weapons and so on, so as to prevent the students from cheating. Huh, malice. When Xia Ping passed through the metal detector and arrived in front of the gate, he suddenly sensed several intense gazes of malice focus on him. It's Feng Hetong. He looked over and saw a group of people. In the middle of the crowd, he spotted the large-framed, fatty Feng Hetong. He is quite conspicuous and gives off a sense of oppression. He is surrounded by a couple students from Xinhua High School and a couple students from Zhengda High School, including Han Shan. Much as one wants to, one cannot avoid one's enemy indeed. These guys were assigned to the 8th area as well. What a coincidence. Xia Ping's eyes twinkled. The students were randomly assigned to 16 areas, yet he was able to meet Feng Hetong. It's just his luck. He ignored the other party and stood quietly, waiting for the competition to begin. That damn Xia Ping was unexpectedly assigned to the 8th area as well. He's out of luck. Han Shan was ecstatic when he saw Xia Ping. Originally, the simulated city is so big that it's not easy to find someone. Furthermore, if the other party is hiding deliberately, it's even more difficult. But who could have thought that this lad was assigned to the 8th area, just like them? Therefore, it's impossible for him to escape now. His luck is really bad. Feng Hetong sneered. I was planning to take care of him at a later time, but he unexpectedly came directly to me. It's the will of heaven. You worked hard, will of heaven. Standing with hands behind his back, Feng Hetong has an aloof look in his eyes. Really, for a student from a common school to provoke us, what a reckless thing. We must teach him a lesson and make him understand the gap that exists between us. So what if he has a bit of skill? Before we beat him half to death, I want to teach him how to conduct oneself. I reckon that he will be thankful to us one day. Although we can't kill him during the competition, but it's fine to beat him to within an inch of his life. As long as it's not life-threatening, the referees can't come out to stop us. As soon as we go in, let's attack him. We must not allow him to press the watch's button and forfeit. By then, we'll have a fun time with him in the city. The several students smiled sinisterly and stared at Xia Ping, as if they found some interesting toy. Xia Ping. Oh, Xia Ping, I must repay you for the kindness you showed me on Savage Beast Island this time. Han Shan gnashed his teeth and stared at Xia Ping. His heart filled with anger. After he returned from Savage Beast Island, he had to spend a week in the hospital in order to recuperate. This humiliation was a devastating blow to his status in Zhengda High School. After seeing his shameful appearance, the younger brothers and girls no longer put him on a pedestal as before. Instead, there is now faint contempt in their eyes when they look at him. He finds these looks unbearable. If he doesn't teach Xia Ping a ruthless lesson and give vent to his negative emotions, it may adversely affect his progress in terms of martial cultivation in the future. Therefore, even though it is a stain on his dignity as the boss of Zhengda High School, he still asks for help from the boss of Xinhua High School. Ding dong. At this time, a melodious bell sound rose from afar and spread all over the square, so that every student could hear it clearly. Kaboom! Then, the huge gate's 2 doors started rotating on their axes, slowly revealing the simulated city behind it. The competition starts now. Contestants, please head inside. While speaking into a loudspeaker, a staff member announced the official start of the competition. Whoosh! When they heard that, the surrounding students rushed towards the simulated city at once, without hesitation. The first people to enter will undoubtedly gain some advantages. When all the students entered the simulated city, the gate closed behind them. No one is allowed to go in or out. Awesome. Upon entering the simulated city, some students were shocked by the scene in front of them. Tall buildings rising in succession, roads extending in all directions, taxis parked on the side of the roads, flyers scattered on the ground, large trees and street lamps lined on both sides of the roads. It looks like a real city. A few days ago, this place was just an ordinary gymnasium, but now it has become a real simulated city. Such efficiency is terrifying. Hundreds of years ago, humans probably could not have imagined a scenario where a city with a capacity of 1 million people would be built within a few days, and that it would not even cost that much money. This is the power of technology. There's a token a dozen-plus kilometers away. I have to hurry up and grab that token. If I'm a step late, I'm afraid it will be seized by someone else. We have to go right away as well. There are only 16 tokens in total. After entering the simulated city, the impatient students rushed towards their destination according to the virtual map displayed by the smartwatch. After all, there's only 1 token in this area. Xia Ping also wanted to rush over. But before he could start, he was stopped by 5 or 6 people, including Feng Hetong, who looked at him fiercely. You're not going to compete for the token? Xia Ping gazed at these people with an indifferent look in his eyes. Feng Hetong snorted coldly. You're still posturing? As I told you before, anyone who offends me, Feng Hetong, will have a miserable ending. However, you didn't listen and talk back to me. You didn't appreciate the kindness that I showed you. Now do you know that you were wrong? He looked down at the other party, as if eyeing prey. Han Shan and the others stared at Xia Ping, looking like they will tear him to pieces at any time. They won't let the lad run away. Feng Hetong. Xia Ping cast Feng Hetong a gaze of indifference. Don't provoke me. If you get lost now, you can still save some face. Otherwise, you'll have a tragic ending, a really tragic ending. Understood. Understood my ass. Feng Hetong's nose scrunched up from anger. Even at this moment, the lad still dares to be arrogant and dismissive in front of him. If he doesn't give a lad a good beating, he is not the boss of Xinhua High School. Since you are stupid and obstinate, you'll have to endure some pain. Boom! When his words fell, he unleashed a palm strike. A strong force erupted, and the air exploded. At the moment the competition started, HD cameras scattered all over the simulated city were activated, recording the scenes in the 16 areas. The images captured by the HD cameras are broadcasted live, so that countless people in Skywada City and even the whole Yangzhou region can see them. These images can be seen on the TV and even the internet. In the first moments, the audience noticed that Feng Hatong and them are fighting with Xia Ping. Look, people started fighting the moment they went in. For them to start fighting the moment the competition began, there must be a feud between the two sides. That damn fatty is something else. He actually learned the high-level martial skill, the Heartbreaker Palm. Using this martial skill, you can destroy a person's heart with a palm strike. The momentum alone is enough for someone with weaker willpower to pee their pants. Of course, he's something else. This fatty is a 9th-layer martial apprentice, as well as one of the top experts of Xinbo High School. It's not surprising for him to use this move. That lad is done for. He'll probably have the **TE kicked out of him with this single palm strike. Many spectators all over Skywada City discussed spiritedly and communicated on the internet. On the live streaming platforms, you can share your thoughts. Furthermore, if you click on a contestant's image, their basic data will be displayed, so as to facilitate the audience's understanding of the contestants. It can be said that commercialization has reached the extreme here. But as the spectators have said, Fatty Feng Hatong is really formidable. His use of the Heartbreaker Palm has reached the perfect realm. Coupled with his 9th-layer martial apprentice realm strength, his palm strike contains a frightening momentum. If hit by this palm strike, even a buffalo will be torn apart and its internal organs will burst. But what sort of character is Xia Ping? He was able to block the deadly blow of Lin Bao, the commander of the band of the Cheetah, who took the crazed pill and reached the quasi-martial practitioner realm. How could he be afraid of Feng Hatong's Heartbreaker Palm? In response to Feng Hatong's palm strike, Xia Ping unleashed a fist strike. Boom tilde. When the fist and palm collided, a soft force and a fierce force clashed and detonated, and the air exploded. At the feet of the two people, a deep pit appeared in the ground and cracks spread around. Unable to withstand the astonishing shockwave, Han Shan and company were forced to take several steps back. How is that possible? Feng Hatong was gobsmacked. Unlike in the square before, he didn't pull his punches when he unleashed the palm strike. However, when the palm hit the lad, as if it ran into a mass of cotton, its fierce force was easily neutralized, unable to harm him in the least. This is something to be expected. After all, Xia Ping's bombing body protection art has reached a really profound level. 9th Martial Apprentice realm powerhouses can no longer harm him. Now probably only Martial Practitioner realm powerhouses have the qualification to harm him. As for Feng Hatong, there's no way he knows any body protection arts as exquisite as the bombing body protection art. **T. When his palm strike was rendered useless, he discovered that the unswerving Xia Ping unleashed a punch with his left fist lightning fast. Dragon Fist. Blue Dragon moves the sky. When the fist was sent flying, a faint dragon roar sounded, and the void shook. Consequently, the vital energy of Han Shan and company boiled, and they nearly vomited blood. They felt like they're going to pass out. The unmatched, dragon roar-like force burst out at once. Boom tilde, and instantly hit fatty Feng Hatong. No. Feng Hatong unleashed a scream when he felt the unparalleled force, which reached 30,000 caddies. Even with his body's defense, he couldn't withstand it. In a flash, the fatty weighing 300 caddies was blasted away and flew for 100 meters. He finally hit a large concrete wall on one side of the street. Along with several cracking sounds, Feng Hatong was embedded into the concrete wall. A large number of gravel fell down, and more than a dozen cracks appeared on the wall. It's too strong. Is this still the 5-form fist? I've also practiced the 5-form fist, but mine can't unleash such power. If I guess correctly, it must have reached the supreme realm. No way. This 18-year-old youngster's comprehension of the 5-form fist actually reached the supreme realm. Generally speaking, even powerhouses gifted in martial arts will have to be in their 20s or 30s to be able to attain such comprehension. I once witnessed an old man who has practiced fist techniques for decades unleash the 5-form fist to this degree. But he was already a martial arts grandmaster and had practiced cultivation for decades. How freakish. So this is the fighting level of Skywada City. The competition has barely started, yet such a formidable powerhouse has appeared already. On the live streaming platforms, countless spectators exclaimed in amazement. In this era of martial arts, virtually everyone has a deep understanding of martial arts. Among the spectators, there are also some true martial arts powerhouses. Damn it, this lad is too scary. Let's run. Upon witnessing Xia Ping's display, which seems to be more terrifying than when they were on Savage Beast Island, Han Shan turned slightly green in the face. He wants to get away from here. Otherwise, if he falls into the lad's hands, he's toast. The others were stupefied as well. Since their boss, Feng Hatong, is not the other party's opponent and was defeated with a single punch, then even if they join forces, they probably won't be able to withstand a blow from the lad. Whoosh! Han Shan and them try to run away at once. Want to run? With a cold gleam in his eyes, Xia Ping's figure fluttered, and he suddenly divided into 5 shadows that looked like a tiger, a dragon, a white crane, a poisonous snake, and a leopard respectively. In an instant, before Han Shan's group of 5 could so much as take a step, they were punched almost at the same time and shot into the air like cannonballs. Bang! They screamed miserably, flew into the air, and then smashed into a wall on one side of the street. They punched open 5 holes in the wall, with their lower body hanging from the holes. With a PFFF sound, they spat out a mouthful of blood. Several of their ribs were broken. One punch, 5 forms. Heavens, I thought it was just a myth. I didn't expect someone to really achieve it. This lad is a freak. He's definitely a great freak. When a spectator saw this scene, he shouted at once, thoroughly shocked. Many spectators were shocked. As martial arts powerhouses, they naturally know how impressive it is to be able to unleash 5 forms with one strike. In this way, the power of the strike has increased severalfold. The youngster has likely cultivated the 5-form fist to the most profound level and mastered the essence of each fist technique. To achieve this degree of mastery, it takes at least decades of cultivation. But the lad is only 18. If he's not a freak, then who is? Go and investigate this lad's origin. Why have I never heard of his before? If he can cultivate his martial skills to this degree while in the martial apprentice realm, then what will become of him in the future? A martial arts master. We're done with the investigation. He is Xia Ping from Skywada City's 95th High School. He's from an ordinary background. In fact, his family has been ordinary for the past 18 generations. According to the data, a few months ago, he was only a 3rd-layer martial apprentice. No way. He's now an 8th-layer martial apprentice. How come his progress is so fast? It's possible that it was just a ruse, that he hid his strength. Or maybe he had some kind of enlightenment, which improved his strength by leaps and bounds. Indeed, people who have a sudden flash of realization and make rapid progress in martial arts are not rare. Classify him as a key target and send him an invitation. We cannot let another organization be the early bird that catches the worm. Upon seeing the scenes displayed on the live stream, the heads of martial arts organizations paying attention to Skywada City's high school martial arts competition were shocked, and they ordered for Xia Ping to be investigated. They plan to invite him into their organizations. With the development of technology and the prosperity of martial arts, powerful martial arts organizations and companies proliferated in society. They are legal organizations allowed by the federal government. What is the most precious thing in this era? Without a doubt, it's talents, martial talents. Formidable martial arts powerhouses can go to dangerous places to adventure, hunt monsters, explore minerals, search for miraculous herbs, excavate ancient relic sites, and so on. Real estate, hotels, restaurants, entertainment, and other businesses, none can compare to adventuring. If an adventure is fruitful, you'll be able to get rich overnight and make money faster than money printing machines. Some people say that with the development of technology, which led to the creation of laser guns, mechanical armors, laser cannons, and other powerful weapons, which even ordinary people can operate to kill martial arts powerhouses are nothing special. But if martial arts powerhouses are also equipped with these weapons, the power they can display is dozens or even 100 times above that of ordinary people. The two aren't even in the same league. A sword that slices through iron as if mud is just a toy in the hands of a child or a tool to cut vegetables in the hands of a chef. But in the hands of a true expert of the sword, it is a dreadful, killing weapon. With a single sword strike, they can sunder the firmament and slaughter thousands of soldiers. To be able to find such a martial arts genius in Skywada City, I'm really lucky. It seems that in addition to favorites like Qin Muyang, there are still many dark horses. This is also normal. In this era, rich and powerful families aren't the only ones who can produce geniuses. Ordinary families can also produce geniuses. Pay attention. Make sure that we aren't overtaken by another organization. The leaders of many martial arts organizations issued orders to their subordinates in a dignified tone. For large organizations, to be able to dig up martial arts geniuses is no less important than buying stocks in Alibaba, Tencent, and other large companies in the early days. In fact, it may be tens, hundreds, or tens of thousands of times more profitable. After all, a true martial arts expert can support the growth of an organization for decades, or even 100 years, and can bring unimaginable benefits to the organization. Therefore, martial arts organizations always pay attention to martial art competitions all over Flame Yellow Star, in the hopes to dig up genuine martial art geniuses and invite them to join their organizations. This is the reason why Skywada City's high school martial arts competition is so popular. Even though it costs a lot of money, there are many martial arts organizations that support it in secret. Of course, this is also an opportunity for Skywada City's high school students to be a carp leaping through the Dragon Gate. If they can catch the eye of a powerful martial arts organization and join it, they'll be able to get a lot of resources. By then, they will get twice the result with half the effort. Otherwise, how can they, who are of ordinary background, compete with children from rich and powerful families? It can be said that the high school martial art competition is a stage for them to reveal their talents and strength. Even if they can't enter the top 16, it doesn't matter. As long as they catch the eye of some martial arts organization, they will make a profit. At this time, in a VIP lounge in Skywada City's administrative center, there are more than a dozen people standing in this place. If anyone familiar with Skywada City's officialdom saw this scene, they would be astonished. because this group of people shockingly comprises of the 9 council members, the mayor, the deputy mayor, and other big shots of Skywata City. Any slight action of these big shots could greatly affect Skywata City. But even these big shots can only quietly stand aside and assume a reverential attitude. The only person who can sit in this place is an old man in a white martial arts clothing. Sitting in a black chair, he exudes an unfathomable martial arts aura, as if a godly being. Behind the old man in white, there stand 3 or 4 middle-aged men, who appear to be bodyguards. But each one of them possesses shocking strength, stifling the big shots of Skywata City. Not bad. As he watched the images of Xia Ping displayed on the screens in the VIP lounge, the old man in white raised his eyebrows. I didn't expect Skywata City to have such a martial arts genius. To be able to practice the 5-form fist to this degree, he can be regarded as a talented individual. Skywata City has done a decent job, although he gave a compliment, but he wasn't visibly moved. After all, since he has met many geniuses like Xia Ping, this is not enough to move him. But even so, the others were surprised, because it is not easy to attract the old man's attention. Most martial arts powerhouses can't even make the old man move his eyelids. Thank you for your praise, Mr. Fong. Mayor Qin Fei beamed with joy. After all, it is a greatest honor to receive praise from such a bigwig. If he catches the other party's eye, the Qin family may have a meteoric rise. Council member Feng Shan, that fatty is your son? A council member asked a nearby fat council member in a low voice, curious. Yes, it's my son. Half of the fat council member Feng Shan's face turned slightly green. He previously told his son that some bigwig has come to watch the competition and instructed him to do well, yet his son was beaten right at the beginning. Now he won't be able to make a good impression on the bigwig. If he's eliminated right at the get-go, it will be a great loss of face to Feng family. Council member Feng, my condolences. A council member chuckled. Curses. Upon hearing the words of ridicule, the other half of the fat council member Feng Shan's face turned slightly green. He prayed in his heart, son, you must not be eliminated so soon, or you'll miss a great opportunity. Crack. Xia Ping grabbed Feng Hetong and company, who were embedded into a wall, and knocked them into the ground one by one. Consequently, they screamed in pain, and sweat ran down their foreheads. Shortly after, Xia Ping brought these people to a nearby high-rise building and threw them on the floor. Since there are no monitoring devices here, this place is just perfect to do all sorts of bad things. Lad, don't act recklessly. Feng Hetong gritted his teeth and glared at Xia Ping. My father is a council member of Skywata City. If you do anything to me, you'll have to bear the consequences. Understood. If you are sensible, you should apologize immediately. Maybe I'll forgive you. Despite his bravado, his shivering body betrayed his state of mind. Unexpectedly, he, a majestic 9th-layer martial apprentice, is not the lad's opponent. He was defeated by just one punch and had several ribs broken. What a devastating outcome. I should apologize? When he heard this, Xia Ping smiled and pulled hard. Suddenly, Han Shan and them heard a sharp, grating sound. As the son of a council member, Feng Hetong has been living like a prince. As a result, there's no way he can endure such pain. He screamed miserably at once. He felt a sharp pain all over his body, as if something drilled into his heart, and nearly convulsed. It's all right. It's just a dislocation, that's all. I'm proficient at treating this sort of ailment. In fact, some of my class gave me the nickname Quack. Xia Ping looked at Feng Hetong with a beaming smile. Quack. Feng Hetong and the others became slightly green in the face. Damn it, a quack without any medicinal skills. Yet he still claims that he's proficient at treating ailments. Quacks are the ones who kill the most people. Who would let him treat them? There was a pop sound. Xia Ping used a bit of strength, and Feng Hetong screamed. His arm was popped back into place. As you can see, my medical skills are pretty good. The dislocated arm was popped back in. You will have a full recovery in 3 months. Xia Ping assumed a satisfied expression, confident in his medical skills. Curses, what do you want? Feng Hetong shouted, his face pale. With the current development of medicine, even if he has all his bones broken, he can recover in a week if he pays a huge sum and immerses himself in a nutrient solution. But for it to take 3 months to recover from a dislocated arm, isn't that a fucking scam? I don't want anything from you. I just want to try out my medical skills. There was a pop sound. Xia Ping pulled and dislocated Feng Hetong's arm again. Severe pain washed over Feng Hetong, and he nearly fainted. Han Shan and company were terrified by what they saw. He's a devil. This bastard is simply a devil. Where did he learn this torture method? There's no such thing in TV shows. If it weren't for the fact that they were rendered immobile by the lad, they would have given their all to escape. Lad, don't go too far. I, Feng Hetong, am the boss of Xinhua High School. My father is a council member of Skywata City. Aren't you afraid of my retaliation? Feng Hetong still assumed a tough stance. Pop. Xia Ping ignored him. He popped his arm back in and dislocated it again. He did this 2 or 3 times in a row. Screams of pain escaped from Feng Hetong's mouth. Cold sweat appeared on his forehead, and white foam emerged from his mouth. He almost fainted. Not bad. You're pretty tough. I like people like you. Xia Ping clicked his tongue and exclaimed. I often practice medical skill to save people. If I practice bone setting another 100 times, that should be enough. 100 times. Han Shan and the others broke out in a cold sweat. After just a few rounds, Feng Hetong already seems like a pig being slaughtered. If this goes on for another 100 rounds, will he still resemble a person? He'll probably go crazy from the torture. Dude, don't big bro, I was in the wrong. Stop with the bone setting. Please spare me. Upon hearing this, Feng Hetong couldn't stand it anymore. He finally gave in and implored Xia Ping. Spare you? I wouldn't dare. After all, if I provoke you and make you furious, I'll have to bear the consequences. It can't be helped. After all, you're council member Feng's son. Who dares to offend you? Let me practice it a few more times. Along with a series of popping sounds, Xia Ping dislocated and popped back in his arm again and again. Feng Hetong unleashed blood-curdling screams. In the end, unable to bear the pain, his eyes rolled back, and he frothed from the mouth and fainted. What a useless fellow. If he can't bear this bit of pain, then how can he become a martial arts powerhouse? How can he enter the top 16? How can he enter a first-class university in the future? If he goes out into the world, others will make fun of people from Skywata City, will claim that people from Skywata City amount only to this much. The dissatisfied Xia Ping slapped Feng Hetong several times on the face and woke him up. This. When Feng Hetong woke up and saw Xia Ping's face, he suddenly turned slightly green in the face, unable to say anything unyielding anymore. He's a devil. Han Shan and the others couldn't help shout inwardly and tremble all over. What if it's their turn next? Wouldn't that be horrible? All of a sudden, they felt a chill run down their spine. They can no longer bear Xia Ping's psychological games. Big bro, spare us. We were wrong. We failed to recognize a great individual. Forgive us this time, and you'll have our deep gratitude. If we meet in the future, we'll get out of your way. If you want money, we'll give you as much as we have. If there's anything we have, that's money. While trembling uncontrollably, Han Shan and the others begged Xia Ping to spare them, fearing that they will be tortured just like Feng Hetong. So you want me to spare you? Xia Ping's eyes twinkled. You'd rather beg for mercy from your enemy. You'd rather be tortured than forfeit the competition. Can you tell me why? As long as Feng Hetong and them press the button, the nearby staff members will rescue them. At that time, Xia Ping won't be able to continue to torture them. However, they don't want to press the help button. They don't want to forfeit the competition. It's quite strange. The eyes of Feng Hetong and them flickered. They obviously don't want to answer the question. Before the beginning of the competition, their elders warned them strongly not quit easily, stating that there will be a big shot watching, that they must display their martial prowess and talent. If they catch the big shots, they may become a carp that leaping through the dragon gate and have a meteoric rise. If they quit before they can display their strength, if they show such a sorry display, their elders will be disappointed. They will be dressed down by their elders and be swept into the ranks of trash, no longer able to enter the power center of their families. With such consequences, they dare not quit the competition lightly. But they can't tell the lad this. In that case, doesn't he have him by the throat? You won't answer? Xia Ping stroked his chin and smiled like a devil. It seems that you're in a predicament. However, I like people in a predicament the best. Like my ass. Feng Hetong and company were furious, wishing they could kill this devil. Big bro, what will it take for you to let us go? Feng Hetong was really distraught. He is aware that he may be beaten up to within an inch of life now that the scoundrel has him by the throat. Han Shan and company have a belly full of anger and regret. If they knew beforehand that the scoundrel is so fierce, they would never have provoked him. But it's too late now. Now that the bastard knows that they can't quit the competition at will. If he doesn't take this opportunity to torture them, that would be strange. You want me to let you go? Those are some unpleasant words. Am I such a villain? Everyone knows that I, Xia Ping, am a most kind, generous, and helpful person. Xia Ping showed a righteous expression. Kind my butt. Feng Hetong is so mad that his teeth ache. Everyone knows that the bastard is a most cruel and vile character who enjoys torturing others. Just moments ago, Feng Hetong had his arms dislocated the scoundrel god knows how many times. He even fainted from pain, but then was forcibly woken up. If anyone dared to claim that this guy is kind, he would beat the other party up, but he won't say it out loud. He bowed his head and assumed a fawning expression, saying, yes, that's right. Big bro is a most kind person. Since it's getting late, why don't you let us go? After all, the competition is what truly matters at the moment. If you're late, the tokens will be seized by others. He can't wait to leave this devil's side. Xia Ping waved his hand. There's no rush. We still have 3 days left. That's a long time. Let's take things slowly. Take things slowly. Feng Hetong and the others gnashed their teeth. The bastard may have time, but they don't. 3 days is neither little nor much. If you don't pay attention, it will pass in the blink of an eye. Thinking till here, Feng Hetong gritted his teeth and said, Big bro, what do you want? Give us a way out. If you want to extort money from us, then we'll give you as much as we have. No. Xia Ping waved his hand. Extortion is a crime. I don't dabble in illegal things. Besides, I'm not short on money. If you don't want to target you again, I can do that. You just have to be my lil bros during these 3 days and follow my orders. If I tell you to jump, you will ask how high. He declared his terms. In fact, this is something he has been thinking about for a long time. To get a token and have the qualifications to pass the qualifiers, it will be difficult if he relies on himself alone. He needs helpers. Without strong helpers at his beck and call, things may become quite troublesome. He may be besieged by students from other schools. That's why he decided to recruit Feng Hetong and them as his lil bros to strengthen his camp. What? Upon hearing this, Feng Hetong's nose scrunched up from anger. This bastard is really shameless and arrogant. The bastard actually wants him, Feng Hetong, to be his lil bro. As the son of a dignified council member of Skywata City and the boss of Xinhua High School, he has many followers. Only others have ever joined him and become his lil bros. For him to become someone else's lil bro, isn't that a joke? Even if you don't agree, I won't torture you anymore. I'm no longer interested in that. Seeing the indignant expressions of Feng Hetong's group of people, Xia Ping waved his hand. However, I will imprison you in this building's basement for 3 days. I hope you're lucky and someone rescues you before the end of the competition. After finishing speaking, he prepared to tie these people up. Wait, big bro, I agree to your terms. When they heard that, Feng Hetong and company were scared half to death and quickly agreed to the other party's conditions, fearing that they will be imprisoned in the basement if they're a step late. If the bastard really does as he said, then they will have participated in the high school martial art competition for naught. Who will rescue them if they're imprisoned in the basement? Once the 3 days are over and they return to their families, they will be scolded by their elders. At that time, their future will be over. Their families will no longer invest resources in them. The scoundrel must have realized that they have a special reason to participate in the high school martial arts competition and can't be locked up, or else he wouldn't have made such a threat. Really? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. Let me say this up front. I'm not the sort of person who likes to coerce people. If you refuse, I won't have any objections. Asshole, this is already coercion. Feng Hetong and them seethed with anger. If they don't agree, they will be locked up in the basement for 3 days. If this isn't coercion, then what is? Furthermore, to say that he's not the sort of person who likes to coerce people, how shameless. The bastard's words were clearly a threat. No. We agree voluntarily. Right, there's no coercion involved. We're overjoyed to be big bros lil brothers. It's our honor. If you have any orders, just give them to us and we'll fulfill them. Although Feng Hetong and the others felt extremely aggrieved, but they still went against their inner sentiment. They nearly vomited from their words. As young masters of rich families, they have never groveled to a mere ordinary person before. This is something unprecedented. But people have to lower their heads when in a disadvantageous situation. Even though they are unwilling, they can only obey the scoundrel's orders. Anyway, he who has bigger fists stands at the top. Well said, Xia Ping uttered humbly. I didn't expect you guys to be so happy to be my little brothers. It's really embarrassing, but I won't stand on ceremony and will do as you ask. Just keep pretending. Feng Hetong and company were so mad that they felt their teeth ache. At the thought that the scoundrel is going to treat them as his lil bros and order them about, they became distraught. All right. In that case, we'll have to set some rules. Xia Ping was satisfied. If any of you dare to contradict me or disobey my orders, I won't forgive you. I'll beat you to within an inch of life. He glared at Feng Hetong and them with eyes full of murderous intent and used spiritual force to pressure them. Yes, Feng Hetong and the others were awed in an instant. A pressure with the weight of a mountain shrouded and intimidated them, making them tremble all over. This is fear on an instinctual level. Some of their bad thoughts were extinguished in a flash. Moments ago, although they joined forces, but they were annihilated nonetheless. If they offend this fiend again, they'll have to bear the consequences. If they aren't absolutely sure, they won't act rashly. Great. Xia Ping smiled. Then I'll give you guys the first order. Find a large truck and collect all the food within the nearby districts. What? The expression of Feng Hetong and company changed. They were taken aback at first, then soon realized something and looked at Xia Ping as if he were a devil. Strange. What on earth is that chap Xia Ping doing? It's really strange. Wasn't there a feud between Feng Hetong's group and Xia Ping before? After all, they started a fight as soon as they came in. But now here they're acting all cute, like real lil brothers. After a beating, these people must have learned their lesson and became well-behaved. But why are they wandering the streets in trucks? Aren't they afraid of running into monstrous beasts on the streets? No way. They're looking for supermarkets. They're looking for food. I'll be damned. Instead of going to the trouble of looking for monstrous beasts, these bastards are seizing the food in supermarkets. Are they that hungry? Didn't anyone warn them that this is a martial arts competition, not a food program? The spectators watching the live stream notice Xia Ping and the others act strangely. Find 2 trucks in the nearby streets, wander the streets in the trucks, sweep all the food in supermarkets. The simulated city is quite realistic. It not only has various buildings, but also has cars, trucks, and other vehicles, shops, and even food. But these things are originally a kind of support the organizers of the martial arts competition secretly provided to the participants. However, not everyone could think of using them. Xia Ping and company were busy for several hours. But instead of searching for tokens, they drove trucks to 3 nearby areas and swept all the food in supermarkets. When the 2 trucks were almost full, they stopped and drove to a nearby residential area with villas. They found a luxury villa and stayed at it for the time being. By this time, it has already gotten dark. I see. On the live streaming platform, a spectator suddenly shouted, "This guy is devious. By seizing all the food in the nearby areas, the other participants will be left without food. Won't the other participants be in a bind?" That's true. They need to stay in the simulated city for 3 days. The amount of food that martial artists need to consume to replenish their energy on a daily basis is astonishing. If they don't eat a meal, they will be hungry. If they don't eat for a whole day, they will be famished. If they don't eat for 3 days, they will have to be sent to the hospital. By snatching away the food, this guy wants to starve the other participants. That's really treacherous. How did he come up with such a despicable idea? Upon hearing this, the other spectators also understood Xia Ping's treachery. He clearly wants to starve the other participants. After all, where does the energy of martial artists come from? The answer is food. Only by eating food containing a huge amount of energy can martial artists maintain basic energy consumption and even operate techniques to convert food energy into true qi. The more powerful a martial artist is, the more energy they need to consume. Some powerful martial artists can even eat 10 cows for a meal. This isn't something that an ordinary household can afford. This principle is expressed in the saying, the poor can study to be scholars, but only the rich can practice martial arts to be officers. Of course, according to legend, some martial arts masters have reached the realm of Big O1 and can use the spiritual qi of heaven and earth to generate energy. They can go even for 100 days without needing to eat ordinary people's food. But the high school students obviously have yet to reach this realm. They need to consume a lot of food every day. The guy is really clever. No wonder he want to plunder food instead of seizing tokens. I once read in a history book that food is the most important thing needed to survive in apocalyptic times. The one who controls the food supply controls the people. The lad understands this principle. The other participants are in a bind. Without food, even if they get their hands on a token, they may faint from hunger. After all, they have to survive in this city for 3 days. A lot of spectators commented, but some retorted, to control food is all fine and good, but it will infuriate the other participants. If the other participants learn of this and unite, the lad will be toast. That's true. I think this was a bad move. By plundering a large amount of food, it will not only starve the other contestants, but also enrage them. I'm afraid they will surround and attack him. Despite how strong Xia Ping is, he can't resist the fury of so many contestants? Not necessarily. Since the lad was able to think of this move, do you think that he didn't predict this outcome? I think he has other plans. Let's wait and see. Many spectators discussed this, wondering what Xia Ping's intentions are. After all, it's not that simple to monopolize so much food. If you have food, you're a rich man, you are a fat sheep too. If you have firearms, you are a warlord. If you have both firearms and food, you are a hegemon. At this time in the villa, Feng Hetong and the others have strange expressions. They also can't understand why Xia Ping would do such a stupid thing as plunder all the food, why he would infuriate the other contestants. If the other contestants unite, Xia Ping will have to bear the consequences. Big bro, you have raked all the food in the nearby 3 areas. If others learn of this, I'm afraid it will cause big trouble. Feng Hetong dissuaded cautiously. What big trouble? Xia Ping blinked. Feng Hetong hesitated and said, it may infuriate the other contestants, prompting them to attack us. I want to infuriate them, Xia Ping stated flatly. Of course, he is aware that this will only affect the participants in the 3 nearby areas. It might not put that many contestants in trouble, but his real purpose is only to gain hate points. If he doesn't infuriate these people, then how will he get hate points? He even left a note in the supermarkets to inform the students that it was his doing. Of course, he won't talk about his purpose to others. This madman. When they heard this, Feng Hetong and company were taken aback. So the reason why he plundered all this food was just to enrage the other participants. If that doesn't make you a madman, then what does? If the hungry participants unite, they might be besieged by participants from the 3 areas. There are 500 to 600 participants in the 3 areas. Of course, not everyone will learn of this. Excluding those who are eliminated or are too far away, at least 100 plus people will come to Xia Ping to cause trouble. But to do this just for fun, that's crazy. Feng Hetong and them felt a little regretful. If they stay with this madman, they may be implicated. But since they already boarded the pirate ship, they can't run away. One Bigu. The sky gradually darkened. In a simulated city, there are many contestants walking cautiously towards supermarkets. Judging by their clothes, which are ragged and even stained with blood, they obviously suffered a lot. From time to time, terrifyingly strong, monstrous beasts patrolling all over the city appear on the streets. If accidentally discovered by these monstrous beasts, the contestants will be besieged. The whole city is replete with danger. Damn it, that monstrous beast is too strong. Of course it's strong. After all, it's a horned thunder leopard, a martial practitioner realm monstrous beast. No one is its opponent. To put the token under the horned thunder leopard's ass, the organizers are a bunch of perverts. Can anyone even obtain it? If we mess with the horned thunder leopard, isn't that courting death? The number of students were sullen. Originally, they wanted to quickly find the token and seize it. But who would have thought that the monstrous beast guarding the token is so strong? It's actually a martial practitioner realm monstrous beast. A grand group of more than 100 people went to fight it, but they were beaten up badly by the horned thunder leopard and fled helter-skelter. A dozen plus unlucky bastards were almost killed. Fortunately, the organizers keeping watch at all times stepped in and rescued the students, allowing them to escape death. But even so, they were eliminated. Even though the remaining people were not eliminated, but they have all sustained injuries of varying degrees. They were also chased by some monstrous beasts they met en route. After such a tumultuous day, they are both hungry and tired. They just want to lie down and rest. It can't be helped. It's really hard to get a token. I reckon that more people need to work together to beat the horned thunder leopard. We should go to the nearby supermarket to find something to eat. I haven't eaten all day. I can't fight on an empty stomach. A student with a rumbling stomach uttered thusly. You're right. I remember there being a supermarket nearby. There's plenty of food there, including bread, hamburgers, instant noodles, French fries, cookies, ham, and whatnot. The organizers should have prepared the food for us. What are we waiting for? I am starving. As the students trudged along, they took care to avoid the monstrous beasts on the streets. They soon arrived at a large supermarket nearby. They rushed in excitedly, looking for food. But when they entered the supermarket, they were taken aback. What the fuck? Why is the supermarket so empty? This morning, its shelves were still replete with food. Was there a thief here? Upon seeing the empty supermarket, a tall student turned a bit green in the face. Without food, won't they just starve? There must have been thieves here. Look, the ground is completely empty. They must have cleaned out the place. To be so meticulous, these thieves must be seasoned veterans with many years of experience. A fat student looked at the empty supermarket with an aggrieved expression, feeling like weeping. Apart from supermarkets, no other places in the city have food, despite how amazing the organizers are, but they can't hide food everywhere. And it's not necessary. In fact, they only put food in supermarkets, not anywhere else. Plucking feathers from a flying goose one. That's plucking feathers from a flying goose. Which bastards did such an immoral thing? To empty out an entire supermarket, can they even eat so much food by themselves? Do they want to eat themselves to death? Shameless, utterly shameless. If I learn which school's bastards did this, there's no way they can eat so much by themselves. They're clearly trying to starve us. Could it be the work of monstrous beasts? Reportedly, monstrous beasts are interested in human food and occasionally eat potato chips. Monstrous beasts, my ass. When they go into supermarkets, are monstrous beasts so well-mannered? The place was cleaned out. Nothing is left, not even debris. Those thieves are experts. The students yelled indignantly. Originally, they thought they could eat their fill in the supermarket. But who could have guessed that the whole supermarket would be packed up and taken away, leaving nothing behind? Looking at the empty supermarket, their hunger only rose. Wait, a student exclaimed. There's a note on the wall. There's something written on it. He, who has really keen eyesight, suddenly found a white piece of paper on the wall. Whoosh! The students immediately surrounded the white piece of paper and read it. This great master, Xia Ping, was the one who emptied the supermarket. If you trash want to get food, you must become this great master's henchman. If you want to ascertain that the things written here are the truth, you can come to the 8th area, XX Community, XX Villa. Because there are few henchmen slots open, they will be awarded on the first-come, first-served basis. Additionally, beautiful girls will be prioritized. The students were stunned when they read this. Scoundrel! A tall student's nose scrunched up from anger. Arrogant, really arrogant. To empty out a whole supermarket, and then leave a note stating that he did it himself. This thief is quite overbearing. To tell the truth, he has never seen such an overbearing person in his life. This exceeds his imagination. After all, when thieves steal things, they do it on the down low, for fear that others will learn who they are. But this bastard is different. Fearing that others won't learn who he is, he not only stated his name, but also gave his address. If this isn't overbearance, then what is? He's clearly looking down on them. He wants us to become his henchmen, on the first-come, first-served basis, while giving beautiful girls priority. A student with a square face uttered angrily. What is this bastard doing? Is he looking for concubines here? Does he think that he's a great master or an emperor, that we can only serve him as henchmen? That's beyond shameless. The bastard thinks that by stealing the food, he found our weakness. He thinks we have no choice but to obey. Obey my ass. If I become his henchman, then I, Feng Xiaofeng, shall read my name in reverse too. Big brother, your name read in reverse is still the same. Don't sweat the small stuff. In short, if that bastard wants to die, then we'll oblige him. That's right. To actually leave his address, what a reckless thing. Let's go beat him up and force him to hand over the food. By then, let's see if he'll still be so arrogant. To seize the food of the entire supermarket, that's no different from trying to arouse public anger. No one will stand for it. Enough with the nonsense. Let's hurry up and find that bastard, or else someone else will beat us to the punch. The students scrunched up their noses from anger. That scoundrel not only stole all the food in the supermarket, but he also wants them to be his henchmen. No one will stand for such a thing. The students immediately went to the villa indicated in the note. Yan guo ba mao, lit. To pluck feathers from a flying goose. Figure to seize all opportunities. 2. This comes from a post. If we break up, then I shall read my name in reverse. The Chinese actor Feng Xiaofeng wrote on social media. As the students left the supermarket and headed for the villa, they came across another group of students, heading in the direction they came from. A lanky student kindly warned, "Friends, the food in the supermarket has long been stolen by a thief named Xia Ping. There's point in going there. The supermarket has been thoroughly cleaned out." What? Upon hearing this, the students from the other group were taken aback. No way. The supermarket in your areas was cleaned out by Xia Ping. As well, there's no food left. In an instant, a contestant from the 8th area felt gloomy, looked at the other party, and asked, "Judging by your words, you don't seem to be contestants from the 8th area. You also suffered at Xia Ping's hands." "Of course we're not. We're from the 7th area." The student uttered, Because the food in the entire area has been cleaned out, we had no choice but to come to the 8th area and look for that bastard Xia Ping. We traveled a long trek and were mindful to avoid the monstrous beasts. But even so, several of us were eliminated due to serious injuries before we finally arrived here. The students of the other group revealed sorrowful expressions. If they were not starved, if their combat power was not reduced by more than half, they wouldn't have been bullied by the monstrous beasts, which led to several of them being seriously injured and eliminated. For you to come here, did you also see a note left in a supermarket? The lanky student asked curiously. A student from the 7th area nodded. That's right. It goes without saying, but that thief is really arrogant. He not only stole all the food in the supermarket, but also left a note that states his identity and even location. His shamelessness has no bounds. He wants us to become his henchmen. Furthermore, he's targeting beautiful girls. This scoundrel wants to take this opportunity to pick up girls. The furious students want to get a hold of Xia Ping and beat him up, want to see what is at the root of his arrogance. The competitors from the 8th area were stupefied. Unexpectedly, they were not the only victims. Even the competitors from the 7th area were implicated. As the saying goes, a rabbit doesn't eat grass by its own burrow one. But this guy went so far as to eat the grass by the burrow. He has no restraint. At this time, another group of people came from a distance. Some of them are wrapped in bandages. It seems that they were injured by monstrous beasts. Brothers, let me ask you something. A tall student stepped forward aggressively. Do you know how to get to XX Community? XX Villa? We want to go there to look for someone. You aren't looking for Xia Ping, are you? The lanky students and company looked at the tall student absent-mindedly. The tall student was taken aback. Yes, we are indeed looking for Xia Ping. Is that scoundrel very famous? You haven't come to find the bastard because he took away all the food, have you? The lanky student asked subconsciously and looked at the group of students. The tall student became even more shocked. How do you know everything? Amazing, you're really well informed. The food in the 9th area was taken away by a thief called Xia Ping. Now the whole 9th area is starving. Everyone is looking for that bastard. He gnashed his teeth, unleashed wrathful aura, and clenched his fists. The people from the 9th area felt aggrieved. In order to reach the 8th area, they had to pay a great price. They met dozens of monstrous beasts along the way and suffered greatly. Due to the attacks of monstrous beasts, 5 or 6 students were seriously injured and eliminated. The rest were also injured, but they just wrapped themselves in some bandages and proceeded ahead unrelentingly. It can be imagined how angry they are right now. They wish they could catch Xia Ping right this moment and beat him black and blue. Heaven must punish Xia Ping. The lanky student looked up and sighed. The contestants in the 8th area suffered at his hands. Even the nearby 7th and 8th areas nearby were not spared. How could he do such a horrible thing? This is the height of shamelessness. He was mad at Xia Ping's evil deeds. Not only did the people in the 8th area, but even the people in the 7th and 9th areas suffered at his hands. Who knows if there are any other areas that suffered at this guy's hands? If they don't get rid of this bastard, the students in the qualifiers won't be safe. Needless to say, this Xia Ping is a locust that must be punished. Let's go find him at once. To take our food away, he deserves a good beating. For him to make an enemy out of so many of us, he's overestimating his capabilities. Only by catching that bastard and beating him up can I vent my anger. That scoundrel wants to starve us. He must harbor sinister intentions. If I don't beat him up for half an hour, I'm not a human. Everyone roared and, while filled with indignation, rushed towards Xia Ping's location in an aggressive and grand manner. The monstrous beasts along the way were frightened and hid themselves one after another. This scene was immediately captured by the spectators and spread to various live-streaming platforms. My God, this Xia Ping is simply outrageous. He cleaned out entire supermarkets. Furthermore, he left notes stating his identity and location behind. To do such a thing, what's wrong with his head? After stirring up such a mess, there's no way he'll be fine. If so many people find trouble with him, he's definitely finished. I reckon he'll be severely beaten for half an hour until beyond recognition. He'll have to go to Mayalai Aesthetics Clinic to reconstruct his face. The spectators were dumbfounded, unable to understand why this guy would do such a thing. This is no different from asking for a beating. This Xia Ping is really outrageous. The homeroom teacher Qiu Xue is also watching livestream. When she saw this, she felt a headache. If she were present, she would have grabbed the scoundrel by the ear, scolded him, and asked him if he has rocks in his head. Haha, I knew that this Xia Ping is reckless, but I didn't expect him to be this stupid. Right? At least 100 people are looking for him, all elites. The guy will be beaten black and blue. That's great. Someone will finally punish this shameless bastard. Heaven help us. Heaven still has eyes. It's not that it was turning a blind eyes, but that the time wasn't right. Gao Wan, Yang Wei, and others who have a grudge against Xia Ping are all happy, even ecstatic. They are excitedly waiting for Xia Ping to be beaten black and blue. Skywata City, in a VIP lounge, some big shots are watching this scene, speechless. They don't know how to evaluate the lad's way of doing things. The guy is clearly pretty strong, but he has rocks in his head. It's a little interesting. The old man in white raised his eyebrows and looked at the screen, non-committal. At this time, in the villa, Han Shan and company were monitoring the villa's surrounding. Suddenly, they saw a large number of people walk towards them in a grand manner, and they went to report in a panic. Shit! A large number of people are heading towards our villa. Judging by their aggressive momentum, they must have bad intentions. Han Shan shouted promptly, thinking that their deeds may have been uncovered. Oh, that should be the people who couldn't find anything to eat. Xia Ping was calm and collected. He already knew that many people would come find trouble with him. After all, the system's prompt stated that he received a lot of hate points. He was very happy to see the increase in hate points. How'd they find us so soon? Feng Hetong was shocked. No one should know that we were the ones who emptied out the supermarkets. So how did they learn of our location? He felt like the information leaked too quickly. That's simple. It's because I told them. I left notes in the supermarkets. Xia Ping stated flatly. What? Feng Hetong and his party's noses scrunched up from anger. This bastard is absolutely crazy. To leave a note after doing such an evil thing. He's clearly tired of living. What thief rats on themselves when stealing things? Anyway, now that an angry mob has come to their doorstep, they're out of luck. Xia Ping, get out here immediately. Just then, a person outside the villa shouted loudly. Another person rang the doorbell like crazy. As they gazed at the luxury villa, some students were so angry that their eyes turned slightly green. After trying hard to seize a token, they are now both famished and tired. Who knows how much they suffered? But what about this lad? He rested in a luxury villa and gorged himself on food all day long. How is this fair? Heaven really is unfair. Suddenly, the villa's door opened. Several people appeared at the door, including Xia Ping, Feng Hetong, and Han Shan. What's with the noise? Don't you know that it's late already? If my sleep quality is affected, can you bear the consequences? Do you have what it takes? Xia Ping asked discontentedly, and then stuffed a cream bread bun into his mouth and chewed on it. Suddenly, a fragrant aroma spread in the air. The starving students immediately felt their stomach rumble, and their eyes turned slightly green. They stared at the bun with fierce glints in their eyes, itching to go grab it. What are you looking at? Have you never seen people eating? Xia Ping quickly finished the cream bread bun, which drove the students crazy. Immediately after, a tall student stepped forward and scolded, Xia Ping, hand over the food you plundered and distribute it to everyone. Furthermore, you must kowtow and apologize to us, so that we can forgive you. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. He glared at Xia Ping with a ferocious glint in his eyes, just like a wolf. Yes, kowtow and apologize to us at once and distribute food. To try monopolize the food of 3 areas, are you tired of leaving, you trash? If you don't kowtow and apologize, then we'll beat you until you're partly paralyzed. You have to know what you can and cannot take. You have to learn some rules. The students shouted and stared at Xia Ping angrily, filled with indignation. When Feng Hetong and the others saw the 100-odd hostile students, they were so scared that their legs went soft. They're screwed. Even if they each unleash a single punch, the 100-odd people are enough to make them meet their maker. Crap, that brainless bastard Xia Ping really screwed up this time. By following this bastard, not only are there no benefits, but there's a lot of trouble instead. Feng Hetong's group would like to take to their heels, but seeing that they are surrounded by so many people, they can't even run for their lives. Xia Ping. The tall student stared condescendingly at Xia Ping and clenched his fists. Get over here and kowtow, and then crawl between my legs. Otherwise, you can't imagine the consequences you'll have to bear. You're not qualified to monopolize the food in the 3 areas and lord over everyone. Whoosh! As of a hurricane, Xia Ping moved abruptly and kicked the tall student, and a force of tens of thousands of caddies broke out. With a bang, the tall student flew out like a shell, slammed into the crowd, and knocked down 5 or 6 students, who screamed one after another. Lastly, he slid tens of meters on the ground and hit a wall on the opposite side. Several cracking sounds rose into the air. Unable to bear the huge impact, a dozen-plus cracks appeared on the wall, and debris fell down. You. The tall student was horrified. He felt severe pain course through his body. With his trembling finger, he pointed at Xia Ping. He couldn't believe that the lad dared attack him. What made him even more frightened was the fact that he didn't know when the boy attacked him. He couldn't react at all. Whoosh! Xia Ping jumped several times, crossed tens of meters, appeared in front of the tall student, and gazed at him. You want me to crawl between your legs? You want me to kowtow and apologize to you? Now tell me, am I qualified or not? Xia Ping slapped the tall student in the face, knocked 2 or 3 of his teeth out, and sent him flying, and half of his face puffed up. Now, tell me if I'm qualified or not. Xia Ping slapped the tall student a dozen-plus times. Finally, he stomped with his foot on the other party's left thigh, and the thigh bone broke into 2 or 3 parts. The tall student let out a shrill scream, as if a pig being butchered. He frothed at the mouth, tilted his neck, and fainted. Speak. Why aren't you saying anything? I'm waiting for you to speak. Xia Ping slapped the other party a few more times. Seeing this, Han Shan couldn't help but say, Big brother, he's already out cold. He can't say anything even if he wanted to. Feng Hetong and company were terrified by what they saw. The scoundrel is basically a devil that swings his fists at the slightest disagreement. He won't go easy on you even if you faint. How dreadful. He recalled the time he was tormented by the scoundrel and shuddered. Xia Ping, stop it. The eyes of the students widened from anger, and they glared at Xia Ping. This bastard is too overbearing. He not only stole all their food, but also beat up one of them in front of everybody. If they don't teach the bastard a lesson, they're not humans. You want me to stop? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the students disdainfully. By forming a mob and coming to my villa, you think you can compel me? How naive. Why do you think I dared to seize all the food from 3 areas without even leaving crumbs behind? The reason is simple. I'm not afraid of you trash. So what if you have numbers? I will stand here motionless. No matter how you attack, you won't be able to make me take even half a step back. For a few ants to think they can challenge an elephant, you're being too arrogant. He looked disdainfully at the other side. A formidable aura diffused from him. His spirit force surged, and violent winds rose. In everyone's eyes, he is like an insurmountable mountain. Han Shan and the others were stupefied. For the lad is really arrogant. To say such words in front of so many people. Doesn't he fear stirring up public outrage? Fuck his ancestors right down to the 18th generation. What gives him the confidence to be so arrogant? This guy's talking big. We're ants, while he's an elephant. This scoundrel is an 8th-layer martial apprentice realm at best. Who is not a match for him? He doesn't have much skill, yet talks a big game. He even claims that no matter how we attack, we won't be able to make him take even half a step back. Who does he think he is? A supreme master, since he's tired of living. Then let's oblige him and beat him half to death. Let's see if he'll be this stubborn to the very end. When they heard Yang Feng's words, the students were enraged. Their lungs flared up from anger. Despite being faced with this many people, this guy not only isn't afraid, but he's still ridiculing and looking down on them. If they don't teach this guy a lesson, then people will look down on them once the competition is over. Come on, let's finish him. A student roared. Dozens of students rushed over at once and surrounded Xia Ping, who stood still in place and gazed at the students with derision. It seems like he doesn't intend to fight back at all. Bang, bang, bang. The students punched and kicked with all their strength, attacked from different directions, and even used fighting technique secrets and unique techniques, unleashing violent force. Han Shan and company were stunned. These people who came to participate in the qualifiers are mostly 7th layer and 8th layer martial apprentices, and there are even 9th layer martial apprentices. They are all formidable elites. When faced with the attacks of so many people, even a 9th layer martial apprentice would have to flee. If they were a step too late, they would be beaten half to death and sent directly to the hospital for emergency treatment, and their recovery would be up in the air. Yet the lad stood still in place without any intention to fight back. But how would Han Shan and them know how formidable Biming body protection art is? This is a cultivation method that gets stronger in adversity. A force of the same level as him fundamentally can't hurt Xia Ping. On the contrary, it will enhance his method and make him stronger. When he was on Savage Beast Island, the boss of the band of the Cheetah, the quasi-martial practitioner Lin Bao, couldn't injure him at all. After 2 weeks of cultivation, Xia Ping has become even stronger. The attacks of these students can at most tickle him and help him digest the energy of the Bloodfruits hidden deep in his body. How is that possible? Why is this lad completely fight? After a while, a student stopped attacking. He found out that the damn Xia Ping is standing still in place, that he couldn't so much as leave a small bruise on the other party's body. When they hit the other party, it was like hitting a sponge. All the force behind their attacks was absorbed. They couldn't cause any damage at all. After being hit for a long time, the lad was perfectly fine while they were exhausted. After all, they haven't eaten all day. They are hungry, thirsty, and tired. Naturally, they didn't have much strength left to begin with. As I said, you're just a bunch of ants. Standing with his hands behind his back, Xia Ping is calm and composed. Despite standing still and letting you hit me, I'm perfectly fine. I haven't taken so much as half a step back. Recognize the reality. You're just trash. As if a heavy hammer, his words mercilessly bombarded the minds of the elite students. These students are among the top 10 experts in their respective schools. They have long been used to being put on a pedestal, used to beating up people weaker than them. There has never been an instance where they tried their best, yet couldn't defeat an enemy. Moreover, the other party is not much stronger than them. He is only an 8th layer martial apprentice. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm not trash. I can't be trash. Damn bastard. I don't believe that you're really that strong, that we can't knock you down. Fall. Fall. Driven mad from anger, the students used all their strength to frantically attack Xia Ping and unleashed the greatest potential of their life. But no matter how hard Tofu tries, it can't be harder than steel. After hitting Xia Ping for a long time, the students couldn't leave a dent of his body. Instead, he kept digesting the energy in his body, expand the true qi in his body, strengthening his physique, and refine his body. In the end, their strength elapsed, and they couldn't even unleash a powerful punch anymore. Feeling that these top students will have no effect on his cultivation if things go on like this, Xia Ping uttered impatiently at once. After hitting me for such a long time, you still can't make me take a single step back. I'm tired of playing with you guys. Get lost. Xia Ping moved at this moment. As if a tyrant dragon, he unleashed a punch and a kick and broke out with fearsome destructive power. The punch blew 5 or 6 students away, and they slammed into a concrete wall and got embedded in it. The kick sent several students flying, and they knocked into a tree standing by the side of the road and got stuck in it. A sense of weakness washed over them. Get lost. Xia Ping rushed into the crowd and displayed exquisite fighting techniques. Each time he unleashed a punch or a kick, terrifying force erupted. After hitting Xia Ping for a long time, coupled with thirst and hunger, the students had virtually no strength left. As a result, there's no way they could resist Xia Ping. The students unleashed miserable screams as they were knocked down to the ground, beaten to within an inch of their life. Han Shan and company were stupefied by what they saw. The people that came to look for trouble were sprawled on the ground after a few breaths of time. There were even a few who were so seriously injured that they were directly eliminated. Hang these wastes from the villa. Xia Ping waved his hand and ordered Han Shan and the other lackeys to hang up these people with ropes. Why, yes, big brother. Han Shan and the others immediately were awed by this scene. 100-odd people came to look for trouble, yet they were no match for his guy. This lad is simply a monster. He flattened major high schools of Skywata City by himself. You want me to stop? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the students disdainfully. By forming a mob and coming to my villa, you think you can compel me? How naive. Why do you think I dare to seize all the food from 3 areas without even leaving crumbs behind? The reason is simple. I'm not afraid of you trash. So what if you have numbers? I will stand here motionless. No matter how you attack, you won't be able to make me take even half a step back. For a few ants to think they can challenge an elephant, you're being too arrogant. He looked disdainfully at the other side. A formidable aura diffused from him. His spirit force surged, and violent winds rose. In everyone's eyes, he is like an insurmountable mountain. Han Shan and the others were stupefied. For the lad is really arrogant. To say such words in front of so many people. Doesn't he fear stirring up public outrage? Fuck his ancestors right down to the 18th generation. What gave him the confidence to be so arrogant? This guy's talking big. We're ants, while he's an elephant. This scoundrel is in the 8th layer martial apprentice realm at best. Who is not a match for him? He doesn't have much skill, yet talks a big game. He even claims that no matter how we attack, we won't be able to make him take even half a step back. Who does he think he is? A supreme master? Since he's tired of living, then let's oblige him and beat him half to death. Let's see if he'll be this stubborn to the very end. When they heard Yang Feng's words, the students were enraged. Their lungs flared up from anger. Despite being faced with this many people, this guy not only isn't afraid, but he's still ridiculing and looking down on them. If they don't teach this guy a lesson, then people will look down on them once the competition is over. Come on, let's finish him. A student roared. Dozens of students rushed over at once and surrounded Xia Ping, who stood still in place and gazed at the students with derision. It seems like he doesn't intend to fight back at all. Bang, bang, bang. The students punched and kicked with all their strength, attacked from different directions, and even used fighting technique secrets and unique techniques, unleashing violent force. Han Shan and company were stunned. These people who came to participate in the qualifiers are mostly 7th layer and 8th layer martial apprentices, and there are even 9th layer martial apprentices. They're all formidable elites. When faced with the attacks of so many people, even a 9th layer martial apprentice would have to flee. If they were a step too late, they would be beaten half to death and sent directly to the hospital for emergency treatment, and their recovery would be up in the air. Yet the lad stood still in place without any intention to fight back. But how would Han Shan and them know how formidable Biming body protection art is? This is a cultivation method that gets stronger in adversity. A force of the same level as him fundamentally can't hurt Xia Ping. On the contrary, it will enhance his method and make him stronger. When he was on Savage Beast Island, the boss of the band of the Cheetah, the quasi-martial practitioner Lin Bao, couldn't injure him at all. After 2 weeks of cultivation, Xia Ping has become even stronger. The attacks of these students can at most tickle him and help him digest the energy of the bloodfruits hidden deep in his body. How is that possible? Why is this lad completely fight? After a while, a student stopped attacking. He found out that the damn Xia Ping is standing still in place, that he couldn't so much as leave a small bruise on the other party's body. When they hit the other party, it was like hitting a sponge. All the force behind their attacks was absorbed. They couldn't cause any damage at all. After being hit for a long time, the lad was perfectly fine while they were exhausted. After all, they haven't eaten all day. They are hungry, thirsty, and tired. Naturally, they didn't have much strength left to begin with. As I said, you're just a bunch of ants. Standing with his hands behind his back, Xia Ping is calm and composed. Despite standing still and letting you hit me, I'm perfectly fine. I haven't taken so much as half a step back. Recognize the reality. You're just trash. As if a heavy hammer, his words mercilessly bombarded the minds of the elite students. These students are among the top 10 experts in their respective schools. They have long been used to being put on a pedestal, used to beating up people weaker than them. There has never been an instance where they tried their best, yet couldn't defeat an enemy. Moreover, the other party is not much stronger than them. He is only an 8th layer martial apprentice. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm not trash. I can't be trash. Damn bastard, I don't believe that you're really that strong, that we can't knock you down. Fall. Fall. Driven mad from anger, the students used all their strength to frantically attack Xia Ping and unleash the greatest potential of their life. But no matter how hard Tofu tries, it can't be harder than steel. After hitting Xia Ping for a long time, the students couldn't leave a dent of his body. Instead, he kept digesting the energy in his body, expand the true qi in his body, strengthening his physique, and refine his body. In the end, their strength elapsed, and they couldn't even unleash a powerful punch anymore. Feeling that these top students will have no effect on his cultivation if things go on like this, Xia Ping uttered impatiently at once. After hitting me for such a long time, you still can't make me take a single step back. I'm tired of playing with you guys. Get lost. Xia Ping moved at this moment. As if a tyrant dragon, he unleashed a punch and a kick and broke out with fearsome destructive power. The punch blew 5 or 6 students away, and they slammed into a concrete wall and got embedded in it. The kick sent several students flying, and they knocked into a tree standing by the side of the road and got stuck in it. A sense of weakness washed over them. Get lost. Xia Ping rushed into the crowd and displayed exquisite fighting techniques. Each time he unleashed a punch or a kick, terrifying force erupted. After hitting Xia Ping for a long time, coupled with thirst and hunger, the students had virtually no strength left. As a result, there's no way they could resist Xia Ping. The students unleashed miserable screams as they were knocked down to the ground, beaten to within an inch of their life. Han Shan and company were stupefied by what they saw. The people that came to look for trouble were sprawled on the ground after a few breaths of time. There were even a few who were so seriously injured that they were directly eliminated. Hang these wastes from the villa. Xia Ping waved his hand and ordered Han Shan and the other lackeys to hang up these people with ropes. Why yes, big brother. Han Shan and the others immediately were awed by this scene. 100-odd people came to look for trouble, yet they were no match for his guy. This lad is simply a monster. He flattened major high schools of Skywater City by himself. Hello, everyone. Xia Ping arrived in front of the students, hanging in the air, and greeted them, feeling refreshed. Hello, my ass. Upon hearing the familiar voice, the students raised their heads and glared at Xia Ping, wishing they could rush over and bite the damn bastard to death. They were hung outside for a whole night. Furthermore, they have not only not eaten anything for an entire day and a night, but were also beaten by this bastard. One can well imagine how miserable they are. They will never forget last night, which can be regarded as the most difficult night of their life. If it were not for the fact that they fear being eliminated and receive a low evaluation from martial arts organizations, they would have thrown in the towel long ago. Xia Ping, what do you want? A student uttered, aggrieved. To come to you to look for trouble. That was wrong of us. But how long do you plan to have us hang here? Do you plan to have us hang here until the end of the competition? Everyone looked at Xia Ping. If Xia Ping really intends to do so, they will immediately throw in the towel. Otherwise, if they continue to stay here, they would just be tormented. Let me ask you this. Standing with his hand behind his back, Xia Ping asked, Yesterday, I snatched away all the food in the 3 areas and beat you up. Have you come to terms? He looked at them indifferently. Come to terms? Come to terms, my ass. When the students heard that, they were beside themselves with anger. They were beaten viciously and then still asked whether they have come to terms or not. This is clearly an attempt to humiliate them. But they understood that if they say they haven't, the lad will never release them. He wants to see them bow their heads. Cat got your tongue? Big brother asked if you have come to terms. Should your silence be taken as you haven't come to terms? Do you want to hang here for another night? The lackey Feng Hutong shouted. Big brother, these scoundrels look like they haven't come to terms. It would be better to let them continue hanging like this until they have come to terms. I think it would be more effective to beat them for half an hour. Or we could feed them chili sauce or something. That would definitely make them compliant. Han Shan and them gave suggestions. Shameless lackeys. What vicious bastards. Their hearts are too black. Why don't the heavens smite these black-hearted bastards to death? To think of such vicious techniques, can they still be regarded as men? Upon hearing this, the students hanging in the air turned a bit green in the face. If they're tormented like this, they probably won't resemble people by the end of it. We have come to terms. We have fully come to terms. All that food is yours. Let us go. We know we were wrong. We won't provoke you again. The students howled that they have fully come to terms, even though what they felt was the complete opposite. But what came out of their mouths were such confessions. He who is at the mercy of another has to concede. It's great that you have come to terms. What I like most are honest people like you guys. Of course, there were some dishonest people before. But after being taught a lesson, everyone became honest. Xia Ping was very satisfied and waved his hand. Release them and let them leave. If they continue to stay here, it'll only make this place look bad. Whoosh. Feng Hetong and company started to release the student. You're letting us go? After they were released, the students had dumbfounded looks on their faces. They didn't expect Xia Ping to let them off so easily. Xia Ping said flatly, Of course. After all, I'm a man of my word. Since I said I'll let you go, then I'll let you go. He showed a stand-up expression. What are you waiting for? Big brother let you go. Why aren't you leaving? Do you want to stay here for dinner or something? Feng Hetong chased these people away. When they heard the word dinner, the stomachs of the students suddenly rumbled, and a sense of exhaustion washed over them. Since they haven't eaten for a day and a night, they are famished. Can you spare us some food? The students looked at Xia Ping eagerly. The food in the 3 areas was all plundered by this scoundrel. Even if they try looking nearby, they won't find anything. Besides, judging by their current condition, they can't cross entire areas. What's more, can they really find food when they leave for another area? Perhaps some bastards, just like Xia Ping, have plundered all the food in other areas. They're not sure. What nonsense. You should be grateful that you're allowed to leave it all. Yet you're still shamelessly asking for food. Who do you think you are? You guys want a mile when you're given an inch. Han Shan and the others scolded. Xia Ping waved his hand to stop them and said, You want to eat? That can be done. Really? The students looked at Xia Ping eagerly. This guy appears to be quite agreeable. Maybe he's a good person. They may have misunderstood him before. Of course, as you all should know, there is no such thing as a free lunch. If you want food, you'll have to pay a certain price for it. Xia Ping looked at the students indifferently. The student swallowed. What do you want us to do? Nothing too difficult. Xia Ping stated his demand. Work for me, and I'll give you food. It's a fair deal. If you work for me for a day, I'll give you a cup of instant noodles. Furthermore, if you do a good job, I'll reward you with a piece of bread. What? When they heard this, the students turned slightly green in the face. Damn it. To work for him for a day, yet only receive a cup of instant noodles in return. Even Zhou Bapi, one wasn't as stingy. For a split second, they actually thought this guy is a good person. Nowadays, if you hire an ordinary person, you'll have to pay them 100 federal credits per day. As for them, who are martial arts experts as well as top students of their respective schools, the value of their labor is much higher than that. It can't go lower than 300 federal credits per day. Yet this bastard wants to use a cup of instant noodles to employ them for a day and reward them with a piece of bread if they do a good job? Is this some kind of joke? This exploitation has reached a new level. What black-hearted boss can compare with this guy? Besides, employment is just an euphemistic way of putting it. In fact, this bastard just wants them to be his running dogs, where they'll have to tear at a random bone he throws. He's really looking down on them. As top students of their school and future elites of the country, how could they agree to this absurd and humiliating request? What the hell? Why did someone agree so readily? The students were stupefied. They saw a fat student shout at once, I agree. Give me something to eat. If I don't eat now, I'll starve to death. Xia Ping stroked his chin. Very well. Since you were the first to agree, then I'll give you a prize. You'll get 2 cups of instant noodles per day. He put 2 fingers up. Thank you, big brother. The fat student was nearly moved to tears. The corners of Han Shan and company's mouths twitched. To be this happy after just being rewarded with 2 cups of instant noodles, one can only imagine how much these students must have suffered. 1. Zhou Bapi is the villain of the story. After the first person submitted, it's natural for the second and the third to follow. If they don't want to be eliminated due to hunger, they can only agree to Xia Ping's conditions. Thus, 100-odd people who came to look for trouble with Xia Ping agreed to his demands and became temporary lackeys. Next, Xia Ping ordered Han Shan and them to give everyone a cup of instant noodles as salary in advance. Suddenly, a spectacular scene appeared at the villa. 100-odd students are squatting on the ground, eating instant noodles, and even showing happy looks on their faces. It's as if this were the happiest moment of their lives. Some students even shocked with emotion and cried. My God, I never knew that instant noodles were this good. They're simply delicious. A student sighed, and tears welled up in his eyes. A nearby student looked at the cup of instant noodles in his hands emotionally and sighed. Right? The soup, the noodles, the seasoning, it's simply the most delicious thing in the world. No chef can replicate this. Before, I misunderstood them as being junk food and looked down on them. But it seems that I was greatly mistaken. Other students nodded one after another. After starving for a day and a night and still hanging in the air for an entire night, they were already going crazy. To put a bit more hyperbolically, even if they had bark to eat, they would think of it as potato chips, let alone tasty food like instant noodles. In that case, we have to thank Xia Ping for making us understand the value of food. Thank my ass. I wish I could put him in a burlap sack, drag him into a remote alley, and give him a good beating. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have fallen so low as to think that a cup of instant noodles is delicious. He made us this miserable, and then gave us a cup of noodles, and you want to thank him? Why are you so cheap? Sorry about that. The guy's my classmate. He just came out of a mental hospital and went to participate in the competition without taking his meds. But rest assured, there's nothing wrong with him except a slight mental health issue. Drat, this is a big issue. What if we suddenly can't tell friend from foe and beat up our own? The students secretly talked among themselves in hushed voices, afraid to be caught by Xia Ping and beaten. Therefore, they only dared to complain and curse secretly like this. Naturally, Yang Wei, Gao Wan, and others who have enmity against Xia Ping saw this via the livestream. Xia Ping, that wretch. Take a look at what evil deeds the scoundrel has done this time. Right? These are top students with pretty good background. Even if they don't eat exotic foodstuffs from distant locations every day, they must have 3-course meals at the least. But look at how Xia Ping starved them to the point that they shed tears while eating a cup of instant noodles. If Xia Ping is allowed to be the boss of a company, who knows what kind of exploitation its employees will be subjected to? If they're given some instant noodles, those employees may really shed tears of gratitude and treat him as if he were a god. He's a modern-day Zhou the Flayer one. If you dig out his heart, I'm sure it'll be all black. To tell you the truth, I'm also stingy. I never turn on the air conditioner in the summer and use cold water in the winter to save electricity. A piece of clothing can last me 10 years. When I eat out, I lick the plate clean, but I wouldn't stand being this miserly. This bastard is clearly a slave driver who works people to the bone, yet doesn't let them eat their fill. This is inhumane. Gao Wan and the others rebuked Xia Ping and scorned this guy's character. If they were present, they would certainly shout at the top of their lungs and lead the people to rebel against the tyranny of this bastard. Half an hour later, the students finished eating their cup of instant noodles. But it wasn't enough to fill them. They could only recover a little strength. However, at least they aren't as hungry as before, where they could hardly lift a finger. In the meantime, they also treated their wounds. They can now display 60% to 70% of their fighting strength. As martial arts experts, they possess formidable physical constitution. Some minor injuries are nothing to them. In fact, these students are not seriously injured. If they were seriously injured, they would have been eliminated already and wouldn't be able to stay here. All right, now that everyone has finished eating, let's get to work. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the students. A student blinked. Work? What work? The other students were also confused. The work of seizing tokens, of course. Xia Ping's eyes shone brightly. Since more than a day has passed, in the entire simulated city, there must have been people who have seized tokens from monstrous beasts already. Even though the monstrous beasts guarding the tokens are powerful, but the students don't have to fight them to the death. They just have to seize the tokens next to them. Therefore, if you use a trick to lead the monstrous beasts away, you can easily obtain the tokens. Although this sounds simple, but in fact, it is extremely difficult to do this. It requires a powerful martial arts cultivation base, a tranquil mind, a smart head, and so on. However, since the students who are able to participate in the high school martial arts competition are top students of their respective schools, they are naturally excellent. There is not a small number of students who can do this. However, don't think that it's over once you get a token from a monstrous beast. After all, the token is equipped with a positioning device that tells all students its location. Therefore, once a student seizes a token, the nearby students will rush at them and besiege them from all directions. There will be no peace until the match is over. That is to say, only those who can withstand the siege of countless students and still keep the token are qualified to enter the top 16. This is overwhelming strength that no one can dispute. Big brother, I'm done with the investigation. Feng Hetong came forward at once. In the vicinity of the 8th area, it looks like 3 people have seized the tokens. They are moving frantically to avoid the siege of other students. Perhaps we can attack these 3 people. Upon hearing this, Xia Ping smiled lightly. The reason why he didn't beat these students until they were eliminated was because he wants to use them to get the tokens. With the help of so many people, the students who have seized the token will have nowhere to escape. All right, let's deal with these 3. Xia Ping looked at the students. If we get the 3 tokens, then I'll only take one of them. The remaining 2 will be given to the 2 who have contributed the most. You have my word. What? The students were excited when they heard that. The reason why they haven't given up yet is because they hope to get a token and enter the top 16. If they relied merely on themselves, they may not be able to get a token. But if they have the help of others, it actually may be possible to get one. Their thoughts fluctuated. Although Xia Ping is using them, but why can't they take this opportunity to use this guy and get a token? Once you get a token, you can just run away immediately. The bastard won't be able to do anything to you. All of a sudden, the students' mentality changed. They were no longer half-hearted as before. This is a great opportunity. He's the devil. Feng Hetong and company sighed ruefully. By painting a rosy picture, he was able to make this many students work for him. They haven't realized that the tokens are like the reflection of the moon in a body of water, unattainable. 1. Zhou the Flayer.